Here we go.
Oh,
Hello,
I totally wasn't about to swear as the first word on stream.
Obviously, I don't care about things like cussing, but you don't want to cuss in the first 5 minutes because otherwise it actually messes up my uploading on YouTube. I know it sounds funny, but like YouTube.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
It's usually the first minute, isn't it? Although it may change for much longer videos.
It's the first. Well, they say the beginning, so I just assume 5 minutes of.
From most YouTubers I know, and most YouTubers I watch, it's the first minute.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah, but most YouTubers have much shorter, as you're saying, videos, whereas this is.
Yeah, so I don't know if like longer videos equal. You need to leave more time. Anyway, what I was gonna say was be annoyed about the fact that I now have to figure out what to do first turn.
Yeah.
So I have that ready.
And it's fun too because Neil just took his last turn, and so Neil's not going to be here for. He said 2 hours late, so we could do this next round of combat so slowly.
So slow
that we don't have to worry about taking Neil's. No, I'm just kidding. We'll let chat decide what Neil does with his turn, and we'll actually allow chat to even roll his attack roll and everything.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so we'll make sure we get the modifiers together, and somebody.
This could go so bad, but I'll take this. Sorry,
me and Tess were talking about this before. Right? I was like,
"Oh no,
this is combat." I was like, "Scott can just do Neil. Like, don't worry about him." And he's like, "But you remember when Scott, like, made me hit a caster with a go hit that big bad with the stick?"
Yeah,
and I said, "Oh, yeah, that's right." Scott doesn't. Yeah, Scott might not be the best person to.
You're
getting
back to like season 2.
Like, I remember
season 1
because I got told what I apparently did afterwards.
It was early. I don't know if you had your kingdom yet or not, but that was early. You guys are going back 2 years for that reference. Jesus.
Yep.
Wow. Were you scarred that bad from it?
When your character does stuff without you knowing, and you learn about it after, you remember.
Don't ask Pat about that. He still twitches.
Oh, I know.
So
I know what Pat's gonna say about a specific bag.
Yeah, a bag of weed. No. Pat strikes me as the person that everybody assumes that smokes pot, but probably has literally never smoked pot in his life. Like he strikes me as that person.
I don't know, but I know exactly what you mean.
I don't
he's definitely
know.
Not like a common. If he is, he's definitely not like a common. Like he doesn't do it often, so I think you'd be right in that sort of assumption.
Yeah. It's like Mike used to be one of those people that everybody always assumed that he was like a big pothead, and he was like, I avoided that stuff. So that's not the case
Pat's
anymore,
just addicted to soft drinks and energy drinks.
Yeah, that's a different concern. That's a whole different concern. Like,
Did you see his bag of soda thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll take pot over that any day of the week. But mind you, last night I bought a economy pack of double stuffed Oreos and ate more than 2 sleeves. You know, there's 3 rows. I ate 2 rows plus 2 cookies. So,
Nice.
Well, my wife put on a boring movie, and it had Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, and there was a sex scene in it, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever survived in my life. I mean, like, he was talking about his mother the entire time, and like, they were talking about STDs. It was. Are you uncomfortable hearing me describe? I don't know what this movie is. Yeah, I think it's called Destination Wedding. It feels like. Have you ever gone to a college age play, like a play put on by college students? Like you have any friends go to university and they were a part of the drama crew and they put on a play and you visited it? No? Yes?
I have been part of the drama crew.
Oh, no, as have I, but in high school, not in college. And the reason why I bring it up is because
I did stuff after high school as well.
Okay.
For a little while.
So the reason why I bring it up, I did a little ballet after high school, but I didn't continue doing drama stuff. So the reason why I bring it up is in those like indie films and those kind of plays, but this feels more like a play. There's always these scripts that are like so convoluted in the way that they're written, whereas like somebody will deliver a line Where this is literally a line from Keanu Reeves. There are 7 billion people in the planet. So if one of them is rude to you, if they act poorly towards you, that is a signal they are doing you a favor in telling you that they do not want to spend time with you, therefore allowing you to enjoy time with the other 6,999,999,999
Oh, good. It's one of those
999
Yeah, I know
other
exactly what you
people in the
mean.
planet. And you're like, nobody would sit there through that line.
Yeah,
You would
exactly.
get up and walk away in that line. Like, and the whole movie is like back and forth lines like that, and there's no emotional reaction. There's no back and forth emotionally. The film could have been filmed separate from one another and green screens together, and you would never know because of how there was no emotional reaction through the entire movie.
See, luckily I didn't do art stuff like that. We did comedy of errors stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is a lot more fun. Where you get to play bad actors. It's very fun.
Green. Just
Oh
made
my God.
a big scary request. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no.
I would say if one other person jumped in, that would be I think that's an instant level 5 completed hype train. If one other person jumped in, even with a Twitch Prime. But either way, holy shit.
Jesus.
Okay. Well, anyways, I suggest you check out the film and just watch the sex scene from it because it's not gross. There's no skin.
I think I'm good.
It's just it'll make you question your value in life. Okay. All right. Whose turn was next? Gallon.
It was me.
All right. Do you want me to repaste the scene? Ooh, Green got a new bit badge. Which bit badge is it, Green? I don't remember which bit badge that is. And I'm gonna repaint the scene for you guys just to catch everybody up. Last session, you characters had sailed away. Makes you think of a song. I know what song. You guys had sailed away from Strondano. The boat that was set to sail eastward was set on fire. The boat that was set to sail westward, others had gotten on to go that direction, and then she was with you and went eastward with you. Due to crazy checks, you guys were able to not be noticed, at least in no time frame worth noting. The flump, woo! And no time frame worth noting. You guys were able to sorry, my brain just seemed to beat. We were able to not be noticed by anybody as you were like escaping to the east. You eventually arrived in the next sound over Tikakapro. You're able to arrive in Tikakapro, wherein you learns that the port is so incredibly filled with people. You parked off of the city, had your guards watch over there. Realized apparently there are like Perrin people walking around, like Paradel soldiers walking around, which is crazy. Got some supplies, decided to abandon ship. No. You stayed in your boat, abandoned ship, and walked in because you knew other ways to get there. You got that strange feeling before of being around. I believe her name is Minerva. Moving on. You eventually made your way into Paradel and finally over to our destination, or just outside of it, of Renitslav. I'm doing all this from memory. Good job, Scott. Sips of coffee. So
you've got the name of her name wrong, but I'm bringing up my notes now.
That's fine. So outside of Renitslav, Delilah. Outside of Renitslav, you guys got disgustingly good perception checks, which allowed you to notice a camp out there that you guys thought there was an assassination. These sewers look like they're not properly sealed. This could be the way out. I'm just going to say this one last time because it feels ASCII, which feels gross to me. But for the sake of the level 5 hype train, it's less than a minute left if one person did a small thing that took advantage of all the big stuff that was done prior to level it up there. I just don't know how it levels up on its own. I just genuinely don't.
I don't know how it works.
But either way. Back to where we were. In investigating that area with your little crystal, shrieking noise went off. Crystal got found and picked up and ran off by mushrooms. And you're like, oh no, that thing is going to get away from us. We need to catch up to it. You guys start traveling through the tunnels, you well in advance. Came to the point where like, we're going to split. I need to, and you got to look one last description of where the crystal is. Turned around and started going back to your friends. Saw some mushrooms, leaned in to look at them. And in doing so, shrieking happened. and a large, what is it called? Like centipede started coming at you. You're like, I'm outie. And you turn and you start running. This thing chases after you, and I don't even think you got a single attack against you yet because you kept running away from it as quickly as you can. That being said, oh, it can't be Steve. That's right, because it's already gives us to be a different person. Oh, there you go. There's Jake. Jake. Anyways.
I'm helping out, or I'm not going to let their hard work go to waste. All right.
So anyways, the thing kept trying to chase you and attack you. Yeah, look at that. It is a complete at level 5. That's what I thought. I was like, that's got to be a complete level 5 in and of itself. 250% nonetheless.
Oh, we already have a other hype train to deal with from last week as well, once you have the poll.
Cool. And so finishing that up, and thank you, Jake. Finishing that up, Neil charged down the line and goes and hits this thing with his lance, taking obnoxiously long to make his attack roll, which made it difficult for me to get out of the house. I was like, Neil is supposed to be 30 seconds. Instead, you made it take what is it? What, like 7 minutes or something. It's cut into my shower time. Anyways, so that's it. That's where we are. That's where it ended. Ooh.
Okay.
It's now Gallen's turn. Did you write down how far you were from the creature? Because you were pretty darn close when Neil ran past you and attacked it with his lance on the back.
We have it actually in chat. I'm 20 feet.
There you go. Oh, and pull for level 5 hype train. I've written there.
Pull for a level 5 hype train. Yeah.
That is right.
True.
I might conveniently not use that pull yet.
Okay, so
one of the things I was talking about beforehand is because you guys hype train abilities are so linked to you being injured. It's fun earning the hype train abilities, but it sucks. It sucks that with it being linked that way, that you never get to use it unless you're getting your ass kicked. So I was saying how one of the things that you should be allowed to do is use it when you're bloodied, which means half health points or less, or use it minus a couple levels, like minus, what would we say, 3 levels, even when uninjured. So if you have level 5 hype train, you can use like a level 2 even when uninjured, or level 4 you can use level 1 when uninjured. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, Green, I didn't remember if they knew exactly what it was or not, so I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, it's okay, because Jake's character figured it out.
Oh,
anyway.
Okay.
So
I couldn't remind her.
We all know out of game. In game, I think it's a paralyzing centipede.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Okay, so I am going.
I love some of the images that I don't know if you guys ever seen some fun images of Carrion Crawler. Like I'm gonna toss the Tumblr image into
Oh, there are some weird pictures. I looked at them last time.
I might be able to do it like this.
Some look real goofy.
If I go like this and I go,
what are you putting it on stream?
Carrion Crawler. No, I didn't do it right.
What the fuck have you put in the place of Tristan?
So I put it over there. It's a JPEG. I thought maybe it would post that way, but it didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the one I saw, the really goofy looking one.
Yeah.
There's some really terrifying looking ones as well, though.
It's so funny. But either way, continue, sir.
They've anthropomorphized that one a bit too much, I think, is what makes that weird. Anyway, so I'm gonna grab one of my 4 chakrams, and I'm gonna throw this instead of one of the crystals, but I'm still charged because I haven't hit anything yet with a throwing weapon. Let me make sure I'm within 30 feet.
Yay,
yes.
I got it. I think I put a space between my closed bracket and my open parentheses. That's why it didn't work last time.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's so funny looking.
It's really weird. Some artists have done some really intimidating looking ones, but that one just looks goofy.
Oh, that one is super goofy. Which makes me happy. You know what I mean?
Point blank shot, silent shot. Yes. Okay, so throwing a chakram. Hey,
it's a pretty solid throw. That's good. Let me just double check the AC. Yeah, all right, cool. So let's be clear. Your character, let's just redefine this for a second. Your character is 10 feet away. No, sorry, 20 feet away. Because
20 feet.
Tristan had literally charged, and charged, so he's 20 feet away from the thing, and he smashes into it. So because of how wide the tunnels are, you stuck to the side. Carrick was charging down the middle. I imagine your character being off to the side is able to kind of like almost slip up and just throw the shock room or whatever it is down the alley. You said shock room?
Shock room, yeah.
Do you know what shock room is?
Shock room, yeah. It's the disc with blade.
Okay, cool. Xena, awesome. So
Yeah. I love shock rooms. They're awesome.
you throw the Xena at the creature. Go ahead.
That's I have 4 of them, 2 on each side of my belt is how I've imagined it.
Wait, 4 on either side or 2 on either side?
No, 2 on each on each
Okay,
side.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't think
4
I
on each
ever-
side would be excessive.
I never imagined that on your character. This is actually like a new thing to me. So cool. That's
Oh, okay,
nice.
there you go. Yeah, I always made sure I had 4 because then I can like lose some and maybe like buy some like restock later sort of thing. They're the backups for this exact situation.
I see. I always liked the star knife, but because there's an FF character that uses a star knife. I don't remember who it is. I don't think it's Tifa, but it looks a little anime-esque. You can look it up. You can look it up afterwards. But in the meanwhile, a 19 is an awesome chance to hit. You absolutely hit with a 19.
Okay, and I also because I used the psionic points last time and haven't hit anything yet. So, first of all, there's that damage, and
Right.
then
Oh, that's right. Because you invested, but didn't
it's not actually expended focus. It's the same. It's 2d6. I just use that same roller for the same thing.
Yep.
My psionic shot expend focus does the same damage, so I've just rolled that. So it's the same damage though. So 17.
Absolutely. It's now the creature's turn, and it is actually going to. I mean, it has 2 options. One is to move up and attack Neil, who is 10 feet away because his weapon has reach, because it's a lance.
Yeah, it's ride
Yeah.
by attack too, right?
Yeah, but he didn't ride past it. He actually ran up and kind of went and hit the thing. Right?
Yeah, I don't think you can charge and ride by.
Yeah, you
I
absolutely
think
can
that's
if there's width for
Oh, you
it.
can.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If he's able to move 120 feet and somebody's 80 feet away, he can move 40 feet past them after hitting them. Absolutely. Anyways, or the creature can literally, because now you've beaten the living hell out of it, or it can turn and flee. So
Like
It's
fuck
going-
this.
it's going to make the withdraw action, which makes the first square that it's in non-hostile, and it is going to move its full speed, which is its full speed, which is 60 feet, moving it a full 70 feet away from Neil, and so on. Add the numbers you have written next to your
80 feet away
characteristics.
from me.
Yep, and it is going to full on turn and flee using the withdraw action. It is very injured, and it's just a bug. A meal is not worth dying for. Not when there's so much, free food around. All right. So even though fresh food is nice, that brings us to Viggo's turn.
Yeah, seeing it retreat, Viggo knows what it is, and he knows the value it has in it. Viggo just yells out, "Kill it!"
Squeaky voice and everything.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
what do you move up at all, Viggo?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I do.
Double move. Or you use
I
your
also
turn
have no. I single move, just 30 feet.
Okay. And what do you do with your turn? Just move.
I will beckon the mushroom people watching us. I'll obviously let them know that I know that they're there and tell them to come, wait for them to come over,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Okay, so if you're going to wait for them to come over while just literally walking up, you're just going to spend your turn waving for them to come over. You can go ahead and try to roll a diplomacy check. Obviously, this is not a small DC because these creatures, What color does
Okay.
Climë feel like to you guys? Should this be like that almost bluish, like aqua color?
I imagined the green, the type of green that you've got on the icon.
Okay, yeah, so like that. That's kind of what I was suggesting. And did you want to, sir, luck that at all to try to?
Sorry, that's green to me. Sorry. No.
So you're talking about the color that's like your names and where it says Climë and whatnot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's like a greenish blue. So I gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you want to luck that, sir, to try to get above that 19?
Yeah, because we need to.
I'd
talk
say
to
it's
them.
important.
And
yeah.
if they run away, it's not going to be great. So I mean, I'll try.
Okay.
Hopefully, we can be friends with them. It's a 20.
It is a 20.
That is a whopping 20 there, sir.
That is a threshold, so.
Mhm.
It's a whole 20.
Hey, look, we got four dice.
You did gain some dice, so that is the good news. So I'm trying to get to that nice fun color. That is, I think, good enough for no. For it not being too much of a distraction. I think that's good enough for now. All right, so you with the 20, you wave over to them. They don't exactly seem to be jumping to walk up to you and meet you at the moment. So they are hanging back at the moment. After that is going to be Tristan's turn. Chat, are we going to have Tristan go ahead and do his
He
Viggo
can
requested?
charge it again, can't he?
Are we going to have him charge it down?
He can charge. It ran far enough away. He can charge it again, can't he?
Probably can.
Mm-hmm.
Charging just requires 10 feet of movement.
Oh, only 10 feet. I thought it was like a. Goddamn, that's scary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's under orders to kill it.
So I mean, chat, just give me a yes or no. Is he going to charge? I'm going to put together the rules for his charge. I'll pull up his character sheet right now, and we'll allow somebody in chat. Actually, we're going to allow green to roll when it's time. Let's see. A lance, Masterwork Lance is normally a plus 13 to hit, but charge attack is going to be a plus 2. Mounted charge is a plus 18 to hit, apparently.
Oh, fucking damn.
Well, he has plus 1 for being mounted, and plus 2 for charging.
Can
is
he
a plus
miss?
3.
He challenged it. So that's
challenge.
right,
That's
yeah.
that's what the final factor is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
Can
why he
he
has a
actually
temp
miss?
attack 3 right there. Because
Yeah,
13
retreat
sounds-
is ill-advised. Green is correct. Retreat against a cavalier is a bad idea.
Yeah. But of course it's a bug. It doesn't know any better. So I think it has a plus 18 to hit, which seems insane, but okay. Green, you want to go ahead and roll? Does he have the power attack feat? I don't know if he does or not. He does not. He does not. He does not. Okay, cool. So we're gonna have him just ride up to attack the thing. He's not gonna ride past it again. So we're gonna do a 1d20 plus 18. Go ahead, Green. You rolled a 14 plus 18. That is an absolute hit. No chance for crit. And for damage, can I get 3d8 rolled in chat? We're gonna add 27 to this.
Yeah,
So the
38
next
plus 27.
the next 3d8s rolled in chat have to be 1d8 each.
Oh,
Wow, 8. Yep.
that's oh my god, that's what 35.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next 2 rolls. Another 8? Jesus. Oh my god.
God, oh 40, oh 43.
If this is another 8, I swear to freaking God. All right, who's rolling this last one? No,
Someone
Ano?
roll it.
Okay. Ano must be at work and listening on headphones. He does that a lot when
That's
he's finishing up
possible.
his shift, yeah. And Steve has a
Okay.
5.
My
All right.
fucking God.
So 8, 5, and
Let
27.
him skewer it.
What, really? Ano, really? Really? A D9? Do you have a lot of those sitting inside your die bag, Ano? Have a lot of those sitting around in your house? Is that 1d9? Blap. In Soviet Russia, you don't D8s, 8's DU.
It's the wish D8 and D9.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you didn't roll, Ano. So yeah, the 48 points of damage.
Fucking fuck.
Yeah, that is an insane amount of damage against this poor creature. 48 points of damage, just so you know, is borderline death from massive damage.
I was about to
for
say
a
2
normal
damage
person.
off death for
Yeah.
massive damage.
Not for large
Fuck.
creatures, but for medium and small creatures, absolutely, yeah. So either
Neil
way,
has the potential to instant kill any humanoid creature.
I mean, granted, he didn't critical hit, but he did roll really well. So
yeah.
all right. Can we get Jake? You want to describe how this plays out? I mean, the thing doesn't explode. You know, that'd be really weird. But you're more than welcome to describe this.
The way I see it, Galen throws his whatever it was that the thing
Chakra.
hits it. It turns and tries to flee. Viggo sees it fleeing, just screams out to kill it. Tristan, being the loyal soldier that he is, just starts to charge. Gets his lance aimed straight for like a large part of its body, and the horse gallops up and just impales it and skewers it stuck on the lance before impaling it, and then he kind of tries to shake the thing off the lance after it's dead.
Yep, it was right. And then I just need a follow up. Can somebody in chat go ahead and roll me a d20? This is actually an unmodified d20. Just the next person in chat that wants to roll it, that'd be great. Thanks.
Gonna
Ruptured
walk
and
up
punctured.
and
Good luck
retrieve
harvesting
my
that mess. Well, luckily the specifically the organs and whatnot that have the paralysis are canonically actually tied to the tentacles themselves, the 8 tentacles in the front.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, because it's one of those things where in earlier editions, wands of paralysis, especially if you play Baldur's Gate and you look at a wand of paralysis, it's funny looking. It actually has this like long shaft with this almost like ovular flaring out at the end that looks a little spiky. The reason for that being it's made out of the tentacles of a carrion crawler. Like that is
cool.
an ingredient that you can use for in the old school wand making, you know. But either way, it's something I totally haven't talked about while playing the video game, but I have wand of paralysis on there, and that's what it looks like. So,
I'm gonna walk up and just yank my chakram out clean.
I'm gonna get to that in one second. I was waiting for somebody to roll that d20 in chat, but nobody rolled it quick
Oh.
enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it over here. So you start walking over to pull that chakram out. It is about 80 feet away, right, from you. So you quickly just like walk up and pull it out off of that thing. So let's just do this real quick.
Now I'm scared.
And then you moved up to Jake had moved up from 210 to what was it 180 away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is where it's like round 2, bitches.
Kind of, because coming around to initiative, these things can travel as solitaires, but often travel as pairs. And since you guys have been chasing it back up the tunnel and back over towards where that original tunnel that it came out from is, another one happened to be inside the tunnel, and it's making its way, like moving over towards where the group you are. After doing a double move because of how much space you had moved back over towards it, because you can use Jake as a point of reference for how that 300-foot gap. Jake was still almost, he was still about 200 feet away, and you guys moved most of the distance back up. It makes a double move to come up and stand. Unfortunately, because it has to come around the corner, it does not get to charge attack. I can't, as much as I would love to, I can't do that. It does make a double move to move the full distance up to be standing on the ceiling above your head, where it's able to hang on with its the back half of its body and have the front half of its body kind of like release its hold on the ceiling and kind of like drop down. So it's a giant caterpillar. You know those cute little caterpillar stretches? So it's like a caterpillar stretch, but from your head coming down at you and trying to grab at you with its tentacles. But its whole turn is to move up to be adjacent. Like we're talking to share the square directly above you, Galen. Which for Tristan is 10 feet in front of where Tristan is, but it's directly above your head, so 0 squares away. Okay, which would be 5, 10 for Tristan. Because I imagine he didn't, move up. I imagine he just kind of like stood there watching over you, jogging up and grabbing your chakram out of its body and kind of giving it a quick look. Oh, did you grab your chakram out of its body?
Would I have had time to?
I imagine, really yeah. I imagine, yeah. So I just need you, because you obviously double moved, went up there and grabbed it. It would have been a quick thing. Could you go ahead and roll me a dexterity save? Oh, sorry, reflex save.
Okay.
The DC is very low.
Sorry, just let me double check that I've got all the right modifiers on because I was messing with stuff for a plan I was about to do.
No, you're fine. Reflex save.
Okay. All good.
I think you have a good enough reflex. If you roll above a 3, you should be fine. Yeah, you're good. You're safe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so you grab your chakram out. It's in your hand. That was your turn. It moved up, double moved. It's directly above your head. That's its turn. It's now Viggo's turn. Viggo, once again, you're the distance that you see on the map here. Hold on. It was. I just want to be clear. Scroll up for a second. Yeah, that's the distance you see on the map here. I imagine your character continues to jog up. Those creatures that you saw, not only did they not move up as they started running away and going the other direction, they also started backing off considerably. Viggo, what do you do with your turn?
Okay, I know what this thing is. Do I know if it is, like, it'll cannibalize? Do they eat each other?
That's actually a really good question. What did you get in your result when you rolled that before? Let me scroll up and check that real quick.
I don't know.
I think it was knowledge of nature. So, knowledge of engineering, Viggo. You got a 20 total. You do not know that.
I mean, seeing it come back, Viggo's gonna go with logic anyway, and he's just gonna say, just gonna yell to, like, pull back. Maybe it'll take the easy meal. Pretty much you'll leave it at that. I mean, yeah.
And you're not going to move up at all? You're going to hang back at your 180 feet or whatever it is?
I'll move 30.
Okay, so you move up to the 150? Cool.
Yeah.
And then you, of course, pull back and go for the easy meal. Okay, cool. After that's actually going to be Tristan's turn. I imagine that Tristan would not just leave Galen there. I imagine Tristan would prepare to pull back. Like, he would prepare an action that when Galen moves away, to move away with Galen. But, like, he would not just, like, turn around and ride away and be like, okay, he said pull back, buddy. Like, correct me if I'm wrong if anybody feels otherwise. He's loyal to his commanding officer, but he's also loyal to Galen. Do you guys agree with this?
Yeah.
Right? Or do you...
He's
But if
10 foot
you're
away,
saying
so
pull
he
back, he
can't
wouldn't
attack.
attack. He wouldn't attack. What's up?
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So I always say when you prepare an action, you have to prepare for an aggressive or defensive. So that being said, I can't prepare an action that if he attacks Galen, I attack him. What I'll say is I prepare for a defensive action, meaning if he attacks Galen, I give Galen a gain another to increase his AC, or if Galen runs away, I move away with him. That's what I'll do for Tristan. I think that's fair. Yes?
Okay, yeah. Out of curiosity, this is me not knowing the system well enough. With all the various different types of actions, like swift action, free action, move action, standard action, they're obviously like in a sort of order. If I had something that was a movement action, would I be able to do that as a standard action and also have a movement?
Yes. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Yes. For instance, drawing a weapon is a move action, but standing up from prone is also a move action. So you can stand up from prone and draw a weapon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Can I also, just before you start, Tesh, because all I did was talk, will you let me load my crossbow, Scott?
100%. Draw your crossbow, load it, get it ready. Pick your nose.
Yeah.
You're good.
Thanks.
Yeah. You had last turn. You know, you able to get that.
You might be
it was a
happy with
hard
my
one. It was
plan,
up there.
Jake, because you like people being next to it, right?
I don't want to melee attack it. Don't bring it here.
No, you like other people being like threatening it, right?
Oh, not exactly. No, this isn't 5e.
I thought he had like a sneak attack if
He does,
if
but it
he's
doesn't
threatened.
work quite like 5e. Yeah. He needs flanking, but it gets a little bit weird with range. He has to be within 30 feet and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And 5e, I'm pretty sure you can sniper shot from a country over. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm still going to be doing my plan just to try and up my survivability. So,
yeah.
Is it my turn or is it I think it's my turn now,
So
right?
yeah, Tristan literally defensive prepared action. That's all Tristan did. So it's actually Galen's turn. Do you choose to, because you are directly beneath it, if you move away, it'll provoke an attack of opportunity. And I want to be crystal clear because of the way a hex grid works. And I'm going to try to make this super obvious in chat so everybody can see, because not everybody understands these rules. So I'm actually going to make the hex grid visible. Give me 1 second. Hex grid, I'm going to make black. Boom. Now you can actually see it on stream.
Yeah.
So now that it's visible on stream, we're going to grab, where's your character?
Ooh,
Gallon.
ooh, we're gonna be on the thing. Wee.
So because Gallon is right here, he's anybody that is in any of these squares around you, provoke an attack of opportunity. Okay, just so everybody understands how that works.
Or if they have 10 foot and they're like here, if they have 10-foot attack range, right?
Sure. But this thing is directly next to you, right? So if you make the withdraw action, you make the square that you start in no longer a threatening square for you. So as an example, if I grabbed a Sturge,
But it's
and I had a
above
Sturge,
me.
yeah. So if I had a Sturge, it can withdraw, and this first square would no longer be threatening. It can move to here without threatening, and then because you cannot attack 2 squares away, it is now free to move away as it likes. But because this creature is a large-sized creature that is directly above you, now technically speaking, it wouldn't take up a square like that. It would take up a square kind of like this right here, but directly above you. Even if you were to do something like move that first square to here as for safety, you're still within its threatened area, so that after you moved your safe square, you still provoke going that next step as well. Just so chat fully understands. I know you got it, but just so chat fully understands.
I can do acrobatics, right?
You can do acrobatics to try to not provoke. Acrobatics is based off of its CMD, meaning combat modifier.
Yeah, which is actually rather hard. So the other thing I can try and do, which is what I was thinking I might try and do, just because I try with the where it is, trying to get away might not work. Acrobatics might not work rather, and it might still get an attack in. Does the acrobatics take up one of my actions?
No, what it is you move at half speed while attempting to do this.
That's perfect considering the how much speed I have right now. Mm-hmm. Because what I'm going to do is something that we've not seen yet. He is going to move action, change into his astral armor from the astral skin.
Ooh, okay. So move action, correct me if I'm wrong, is the medium armor.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to, I think it's a 4-round action to do like the Juggernaut version.
So it's swift action for astral skin, move action for astral armor, full round for Juggernaut.
Perfect. Describe to us this thick. Get thick for me, boy.
So he goes from
some
like
thick in chat.
What I would describe before is more like he looks very much like a Black Panther suit, except a lot more purple and a little bit more like crystalline, but it's not like crystal like he was before, but it looks sort of like the Black Panther suit. What you see is it sort of like grow outward, almost like growing metal plates they're not metal, they're something, they're shiny, but they look solid. And these metal plates like envelop his shoulders, envelop his arms, grow out over his back, and like a bit plate moves over and like comes down over his head like that.
But it still looks like that crystalline structure, so it still has almost like facets kind of cut into it, even though it's more metallic.
Not in this one, because he's not got the crystal with him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's
this is the more metallic version. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is the much more metallic. It's not metal, but much more smooth version is what I should say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch to that.
It doesn't have that faceted look to it. So as you go into your heavier armor, which changes over a lot of your attributes, you probably lose the dexterity mod and so on and so forth. Go ahead. What do you do, sir?
Yeah, it does mess stuff around, but I still have fairly good acrobatics, and that's the important part. I also now have a 21 AC, which hopefully is going to be a lot more survivable. So I'm going to drop the chakram and just try and acrobat out.
You go right ahead, sir. Excuse me, Chambers of Roleplay. You wouldn't play GURPS? GURPS is fantastic. As a matter of fact, my GURPS campaign group is begging for Jake, that's this sexy mofo right here, is begging for Jake to come and do a guest, as a guest star in for a session or two for their GURPS campaign. And I won't lie, I cannot wait to like have Jake be like, how do I character? And then like Joey's like, Jake, get on a call with me. Don't worry, buddy, I got you. And then you get to sit on a call for 7 hours to build a character.
I already have a character built, I believe.
Oh Anyways, I grew up on GURPS, so I have a soft spot in it because I grew up playing GURPS 3rd edition when I was 6 years old. So I love GURPS. But anyway, so sir, you look like a badass. You transformed into a badass, and now you did that move action to get beefed up. And now you're going to use your standard action to try to tumble away. You go ahead and make your acrobatics check to try to get away from this thing safely, and hopes that it just goes for its dead carrion.
Yep. So, whoop. Hell yeah.
That is a
Hopefully that's good
solid
enough.
roll. That is a solid roll. Let me just double check its CMD.
It could
Are
beat it.
you confident in your 20?
Use luck. Use luck.
I'm going to use luck on this one because I don't want to get paralyzed. It might still beat that, but hopefully then my AC is high enough that it doesn't quite get it.
I just want to double check one rule. I got to double check one roll real quick.
Oh, did I meet it? Is it like whether it meets or whether it's exceeding?
There's one specific rule that I just got to confirm.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on a sec as well. By the way, we have Penance of the Arbiter. Am I right? Didn't I see that pop up before?
No, you personally got an 8 of the martyr, but you're so. Oh no, Penance did pop up. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I honestly did not see that pop up. Then yes, he does. Penance of the Arbiter is this. You do have a +1 to attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saves, and skill checks. This is a skill check. That is a 21. Fun fact: it does have higher ground, meaning it does have a higher modifier.
Oh,
but
okay.
this circumvents that. You make it. I did not see that
Yes.
pop in. Thank you very much, Jake. And so yes, you roll away.
Thank you, Green.
You roll away.
Was who gave it to us.
And
As
so
a prepared-
unfortunately, I won't be able to get far because
20
it's
feet
one
is
of those
far.
things
Oh,
where
15 feet.
it's 15 feet. But like this is one of those things where now we're going to see what it does. But you see him like when he like rolls and like lands 15 feet away, you see him like reach up ready, hand ready to grab the bastard sword, which you've not seen him use yet. Just getting ready just in case.
And then, so anyways, so yeah, you kind of tumble away to avoid the getting attacked by it. And Tristan had the prepared action to move away as long as you were able to. So he moves back as well. He was only 10 feet away from the thing. You move 15 feet away. So he doesn't back up far. He just backs up another 10 feet or so. So he's kind of like right next to you. Maybe like half in front of you because he's on a horse, which is a large-sized creature. So he's like beside you, slightly in front of you, just kind of like positioned. Oh, we lost Jake. Oh, I know what happened. I did this because of the Monday night game.
Yep. It just means you'll have to shuffle things a little.
No.
Oh no, you didn't. You did it differently, right?
Yeah, I did
you-
it. So it hid.
It hides him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't actually fix that at the moment. Hold on. God damn
It's
it.
okay. I'll just get up higher. Hi, guys. Hi.
I actually have to wait till he returns, I think, to fix it. That's so annoying. Because I did it for Monday night because they've been hiding in the background while we were doing the thing. That's fine. It's just, thanks, Jake. No heads up. His kids, that's all. He's on lockdown. So anyways, you move away and he stands there continuing to be defensively. So he backs off with hopes that this thing goes for the easy meal instead. Now, guys, we are talking about carrion crawler here. So an easy meal and a fresh meal are two very different experiences. I'm going to allow somebody in chat. Why don't we actually have chambers of roleplay if they're still here? Why don't you go ahead and roll us a D100? That's exclamation point D100 to see the likelihood of this creature going for the easy meal. I'm going to say it's a 75% chance. So if you roll 26 or higher, it's going to go for the easy meal and avoid the PCs, ending the combat and allowing us to move on with other stuff. So I do love GURPS, but 4E, third edition had a lot of flaws to it. That wasn't Chamber of Commerce. That was Muffin. If Chamber's not still here, we'll take Muffin's role. I think I literally...
Chambers.
They may have popped off. A lot of people pop really quickly. But it's so annoying. You, change, hide, pin, rename. Coming over to you. Mute, stop video, chat, spotlight, everyone, make host, rename, allow record, allow multi-pin, put in waiting room, remove,
What?
Yeah, it's a thing that I can't. Hold on. Enable play sound, allow them. I think I have to wait till he returns for me to fix that.
That's really interesting that you can't like.
So
'cause I have him there for me. So
I explicitly. Oh no, there we go. I fixed it. I found it.
Oh,
There
I
we
was
go.
about to say, can't you just like select my video and choose like show?
No.
show?
It's just there's so many different drop down menus. I just have to find the right one. That's all.
Oh,
All right, we're going
okay.
with Muffin's roll. It the thing is perfectly fine. So on Muffin's roll, the creature kind of like takes like a step forward, and then it kind of stops. And as like I said, it's kind of like sticking from the ceiling and does that like body like that curl down. And it was like getting ready to attack you with its various tentacles. And it just watches you guys as you back off. But as you guys continue, you can imagine it's breaking from initiative. Continue to back away slowly, prepared for in case the thing attacks. As you back away, so you're about 25 feet away. All of a sudden, you can see it just kind of goes and just like drops down onto the ground. Its top part kind of like bracing itself so it doesn't fall down with a flop. It falls down with like a bit of a grace to it, though heavily. And then it starts digging into the flesh of its own kin, and it starts eating the other carrion crawler and mowing away at it. Again, a fresh meal is nice, but a free meal is better.
I guess we wait for it to finish eating before we advance.
Yeah.
Wait, where were the little
past it.
Oh yeah, no, we're waiting for it to finish its meal.
So I imagine the two of you.
Was it? I thought they were closer to me. I've seen them.
You seen them, but you were also not distracted by the combat.
Okay.
Yeah. So that being said, you guys are back away to Viggo. Viggo, of course, who has his crossbow at the ready, but doesn't attack. And a Gallon returns to you first, and Tristan slowly backing Carrick up, backing up to get over to where you guys are. You guys, I imagine, before even saying a word to another, as you're all kind of like reunited, continue watching this thing as it's like ripping into the flesh of this creature. Again, posting that really funny cartoony image. Oop. Post that really funny cartoony image. As you can see, it's it's like mandibles and whatnot there, kind of like clawing into the thing, and it has actual large teeth, ripping into the flesh and tearing away chunks of it as it's eating, consuming its own kin there, taking good sized bites. This is not afraid to have a proper meal. You watch this for like a good solid 20 seconds or so before I imagine Tristan makes some sort of comment like, "Huh. Don't see that every day." And I'll throw it to you guys at that.
Well,
Tristan,
that was
Gallon, you're okay?
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, that was interesting. First one caught me off guard, but I didn't expect the second one to call on backing up.
Yeah, it seems they must share territory, so wonder if it was its mate. Would have been good to get my hands on some of that I don't know, is it venom? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's kind of like a venom or a poison or whatever that exists inside of it. Yep.
Well,
So
we're
you
gonna
just
have to wait for it to finish. We check the scraps after.
There's always a hope. But more positive news is that just a bit beyond it are some of those Nemomycin. Look, you can see them there looking at us. So they know that I've seen them. I tried to wave them over, but they must have known there was another one about.
Or they might have come because
They might have come because of that, and he points to where the
mushroom, the screaming mushroom, is.
Yeah.
Be careful. It seems to go off on proximity, not touch.
Very useful thing for them to have down here.
Indeed, I believe that was what alerted them to Virgil. Speaking of, I've unfortunately lost contact with him, but I have an idea of where they went. We have the path, and I have the final images that I got in my mind.
That's good.
They do
Well, as
take
long as
a
they
while.
stay there, as long as they stick around, well, we might be able to get him back here if they're amenable creatures.
Indeed. I'll wait till after that thing's gone to take up my own.
Yes.
Just sitting there watching the sort of train crash. You can't turn away, watching this thing just maul the other one, just like.
Yeah, Viggo starts taking notes on its eating process.
Yeah, what's crazy is how incredibly these things are large. Let's be clear, they're large-sized creatures, and they're like bugs, so but not like with a carapace, right? So bugs without a carapace with almost like a leathery skin to them. These are not light creatures. This is dense muscle, you know.
Muscle, yeah.
So this is dense muscle, with lots of fluid and whatnot inside them. So when you see that this one eats about half, maybe more than half of the
Fuck.
flesh and meat of the other one, you sit there and think to yourself, what kind of appetite do these creatures have? And the reason why I bring this up,
Gonna
if
very
you
quickly be
ever
right back. I can
if
still hear
you
there.
if you ever eat a creature that has more dense muscle, like for instance, I had salmon for dinner the other night. If I eat more than say like a 5-ounce portion of salmon, 6-ounce portion of salmon, that is something that will literally turn my stomach as to how heavy it is. Versus like a steak, you can go for a full 12-ouncer, no problem, because it's way less heavy feeling the way that the meat is. Same thing with lobster, right? With how like densely packed it is, it hits you differently. It fills you up so fast. That's the same idea with what this is consuming here, because lobster's no different. It's also a bug. It's a crustacean, right? So anyways, this is a very dense meat, and it's consuming half, if not more than half, of the flesh and meat of the creature that's there. This creature could probably consume in its entirety one of you and still have room to eat like a leg or two of the other one. Like, that is genuinely frightening to see the kind of appetite of one of these creatures. After watching it consume for a total of 10 minutes, which is a nauseating 10 minutes with those noises just kind of like echoing throughout, occasionally with a louder noise because it's like ripping and tearing at the muscle, or like a crunch of the whatever amount of like stiffness is inside of it. It's like a nauseating noise that echoes down the tunnel. Eventually, when it finally seems to finish, it like moves around it a couple of times, seeming to do something. You don't know what it is. And then finally it walks off again, full, 10 plus minutes after you chose to flee it, and it started consuming. It's like, okay, that was a thing to witness. Let's also put this together. Think about how large this creature is. And 10 minutes, it ate half, if not more than half of it. Clearly, this creature can eat a lot really fast. That is a big meal in that short period of time, right? Anyways, the creature eventually turns, and a much more lethargic movement, a much more lethargic speed, starts moving away and down the tunnels, and takes that same left turn past the Shrieking Mushrooms that Tesh, you had witnessed beforehand. The shrieking eventually died down at some point in time during the consuming, and it does not pick back up again as this thing moves past it. Those mushrooms must be desensitized to one degree or another of this creature, because it does not shriek as they pass. I'm going to throw it back down to you guys, having been sitting there and relaxing for about 10 minutes time. Eventually, I don't know how long Carrick is all riled up by that ability of Neil's, but I think it's calm now.
10 minutes it would be calmed down, I think.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
I'm not sure. Anyway, Gallon would walk up slowly and carefully, just like getting ready to pounce back again if like he sees anything, but he wants to just go up and make sure that thing is leaving for good, sort of thing.
It is definitely. If you follow after it, trying not to get too close to those shriekers and looking down the tunnel that it turns down.
I'll also grab my chakram on the way up from because I dropped it next to the body.
Yep.
And then so I'll be very careful past the shriekers and just check if it's going up the thing and it's gone, or
it is like in fact gone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Gallon would give the thumbs up and drop his astral armor.
I'm not sure what the ability was he had that does that, but either way, I'm sure it's over by now.
Right, well, Viggo will go and inspect the half-eaten corpse of this thing.
Spirit's gift is what he gave it.
Yeah. Once during 24 hours, 1 minute per level.
1 minute per level. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it's over because he's only level 4. Yeah. All right, you were saying Viggo what?
I'm gonna go inspect the half-eaten corpse.
Sure. I believe this is a knowledge nature for you because of your class build.
Yeah, it is.
And I would be deliberately, now that I've seen what I want to see, I don't want to move closer to the Minison because I don't want to spook them. I want to let like Jake and that move. So I'm just sort of sitting there like this towards them while I let Jake do his thing.
If I remember correctly, you guys here are incredible wimps and are afraid of crits and fumbles. And so I say that just to tease you. I actually don't generally like the crit and fumble table and whatnot. So actually, I'm fine with it. I just say it to tease you because none of the other campaigns do it. And obviously you spent at least 6 seconds, Jake. So that's obviously a 20. So that being said, did you want to modify your 20 at all? Because you got a 20 last time.
That was to know what it is. I'm not trying to harvest at the moment. I'm seeing even if there is anything harvestable. Like I'm literally just checking it over kind of thing. I'm not touching it. I don't want to be paralyzed or any of that stuff.
Gotcha. So you're literally like with a stick moving some stuff around and barely like digging into it because you want to be safe. Gotcha. Yeah. So that being said, you can't tell. This thing is so maimed with that by how it was consumed by the other one. You would have to spend a considerable amount of time really digging into it to see if there's anything that you can get from it. I mean, it's not exactly give a textbook of where its venom producing sac is or exactly how the tentacles work or anything like that. You honestly don't know. You just know that the tentacles are a concern. That's really all you know. So without that, you're gonna have to get the gloves on, get the knife out, but you're trying to avoid that scenario.
Yeah, well, for now. Once, I've kind of looked it over and I can't find anything. Are those Nemomycin still about like they were?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check to see if you still notice them. The DC is not incredibly high. Okay, so you look about, you don't see them in the area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not around. They absolutely could have just pulled back further or what have you. What's up, Ash?
I was like up front, like doing this to be like not threatening. Can I see if I can figure out where they are? Because I would be probably sitting there for a while.
Go ahead and roll if you'd like.
I did point them out to you guys as well.
There we are.
Okay. So looking about, you can see that Viggo's looking for them. You can look about, you don't see them around anymore either. At least you didn't think you did. But one of those things where, as you can see, Viggo's kind of looking this thing over, and Tristan's petting Carrick, who's, calmed down or whatever, and giving him a good treat, like carrot, apple, whatever it might be, for Carrick's bravery in that combat, because that was a genuine danger. You look about, and you're actually looking over at the Shrieker area, just trying to make sure you keep a good distance from it. When you swear, one of those Shriekers has a different pattern to it, and looks larger than the others around it. Shrieker mushrooms are tiny in size. Tiny means like they're about the size of a cat individually, but they don't necessarily grow as like one shroom, one stalk. They sometimes grow as like a group of stalks that are, again, tiny in size. Again, a cat is tiny. But you swear you see like another one over there that looks a good bit larger than the others. The pattern looks slightly off. Staring at it a bit more, you will finally understand. You're pretty sure one of those shrooms is hiding amongst the Shriekers, watching what's happening. You've never seen eyes on these things, so you're not entirely sure if it's watching or how they work, but either way.
In that case, seeing that, what I want to do is very slowly, like very much not trying not to spook it, or especially not spook the screamers again. I don't want that again. I'm going to go to where, like near to where the Shriekers are, and then just sort of sit down, sort of looking in the direction of the thing, sitting down. Not sure how they speak, but he's gonna just we're not here to. Oh no! Wait, can I use this? Can I use missive?
Yeah, bloop it.
That's what I'm trying to get to it now, because it's missive. I thought I put it under here just so I could ping it, but maybe oh, there it is.
I thought I brought a water down. Apparently I didn't. Unfortunately that doesn't describe missive, so I gotta get it right now.
Oh, it doesn't. You're right. Yeah.
Missive. That's fine. Let me just double check it.
I think I ran into this last time. I need to just put a missive card underneath it so I can ping it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I got it right here. So, you said telepathic message up to 10 words to any creature with a range missive is strictly one-way exchange from you to subject. If you do not share a common language, the subject hears meaningless mental syllables.
Oh, okay.
So if it does not
Well-
speak Perrin or any language that you guys share, I'm not sure what languages you know, then it would not be. It would more or less just. It'd be like Anno speaking in German to me. I'd be like, sounds like Greek.
Okay. What I will
Jake,
say.
Jake, I said Greek. I wasn't referring to you.
I know you weren't.
I saw
I
that
don't-
smile, so like you
I'm
thought I
aware.
might be. But I just want to make sure you know that.
No.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't referring to you. Okay, okay, cool. 'Cause
No,
you
no.
seem like
There'd
you
be
might
no reason.
to think
No,
that.
there'd be no reason for you to refer.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, good. I just
So
want
it's
same
10
page then. Okay.
It's 10 words, right?
It is 10 words. Yes.
Yeah. So
I actually
I'm
thought
gonna
you were funny,
say-
Scott. I guess I was
Mhm.
wrong.
No.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna say mean no harm in like a calm way. In Perrin, Tasian, and then Glyn. Just mean no harm in each way.
Oh,
And then just
you don't actually
wait.
have to do that. It just if you share a common language, it automatically will pick up that.
Oh, okay. Then he would just say, "It's okay. We mean you no harm."
And what are the languages you speak?
Perrin,
Perrin,
Tasian,
Tasian,
and Glyn.
Okay, just those three. Okay, cool. Perrin, Tasian.
But I would deliberately. I'm trying to I'm trying to get the tone, because if it doesn't understand me, hopefully it can at least understand that the tone is not threatening.
Okay.
And that's
So,
why I deliberately sat down in a non-threatening way, facing it, sitting down, so I'm not ready to strike, hoping that that'll be enough to calm it down.
So when you send that message, this is a matter of body posture and whatnot, because obviously you're looking at it. So it's body posture, not tone or anything. Go ahead and roll me a diplomacy
Yeah.
check.
Okay, good old 0. Let's go. Oh, that was almost 12 at least. I am going to roll luck because I do want to try and have at least 13. You know, it's not too bad considering the situation.
And then just continuing with the because you got the penance that Green had thrown onto there for an additional like
Oh, that's
fun little
right.
plus
Yeah.
one, yeah. So plus one's all the way up for all that crap. You were able to so yes, you did get a 21 in your nature and didn't get anything from it. You get a 14, and so you can actually see that the mushroom itself shimmers a little, like shifts a little bit, and you can see like the cap kind of like lifts up a little. And what you're able to see underneath the cap is on the stalk, you see two areas slightly beneath the cap that have kind of like, they're very large in size, but they're darker spots, which almost give you the illusion of being like eyes. And they very well may be. They may be a sensor for picking up things like light and whatnot. And you can see that like darker pattern, again, very large, slightly beneath the cap. You can also see there's areas where the mushroom stalk itself, and you've eaten mushrooms before, you know, like sinewy almost they are, where it almost has like the sinew is almost like kind of pulled a little bit, stretched to the point where it leaves like a rippling area that almost gives the look of where you can imagine a funny looking mouth being, despite the fact that these creatures, as far as you know, don't have mouths. As you're soon going to describe, learn in game, they don't speak. Right. So,
Well,
but
actually,
it does give the
thanks
look of
to,
almost like a face. Go ahead.
Virgil succeeded on the nature check for what they were, and that was when I was sharing the mind with Virgil, so I would understand that, right? I would understand that, like, that though it's very unique in the way it does things.
It may be unique, but you don't necessarily know if it has a mouth or not. Those kind of details you would.
Oh yeah, no, okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
So either way, it gives the illusion of having a face. Whether or not it actually is a face is a different conversation. With the large, darker spots that almost look like eyes, and the ripply area that almost looks like a mouth. But either way, its head kind of like lifts up and it looks at you, and it seems to be looking at you. This thing is not great in size either. It's barely larger than a smaller hafue. You know what I mean? If it didn't have that big old cap on top of its head, it would definitely be smaller than a hafue. That cap giving this like beguiling kind of like larger look to it. But it did actually kind of like shift its head up. If it has legs or whatever to stand with, it's not standing. It just shifted to look at you.
Yeah.
showing that it seemed to understand what you said.
So I'm gonna take out like a ration, go to like do like a motion, and then like put it far enough away from me that it's like outside of like reach for an attack, and then just sort of sit back down where I was.
You do that, Viggo. At some point in time, as you finish like moving this thing around and being scared by, by the idea of maybe getting paralyzed, you eventually just kind of like, ugh. And you turn and look over, and you see him put that ration down and kind of like step back. And even Tristan kind of like looks over his shoulder and sees kind of what you're doing over there. And he turns and continues like giving Carrick some good scritches, but is kind of like keeping his distance and watching. The thing does not seem to stand up, move, or anything. It's just watching.
I'm going to point to thinking about the fact that they came out when the screeches were alerted last time, even though that creature was around. I'm gonna point at the ration and then point to the body, the carrion crawler.
Okay.
Just sort of look at it like as if like, do you want that? It's like, were you waiting for that?
It's just sitting there. It doesn't seem to respond at this point.
You know what I will do then? I'm gonna not like quickly as in like, make crystal. I'm gonna form one of the metacrystals in my hand, hold it up, and point to it. Because the metacrystals look like my crystals.
Oh yeah.
As if like because
it's like a replica of it. Yeah.
It's like,
okay.
Hey,
So you kind of like you almost like hold out your hand, and you can literally see like in your hands like a crystal just kind of like growing and forming out. This doesn't happen the same way as usual. Usually it's literally your suit itself as a shard comes out of the suit itself. It comes so quickly. This is different. This doesn't form from the suit itself. This forms from your pure psychic ability. So as you like hold your hands there, you're literally grabbing at the atoms in the air around you. You're literally grabbing at what comprises the stone, what comprises the water, the air, everything around you, and you're grabbing at small trace amounts of these atoms, and you're literally fabricating this thing in your hand by sheer psychic power, right? And so you can literally watch this thing almost like in a very rapid 3D printing, just kind of like growing in your hand in like almost like a natural form. You can see like the crystal almost growing as you can imagine a crystal like a geode growing out of the ground, and then almost like that you can watch the metamorphosis as this thing is being bent and twisted from its natural formation into a sharp form that you can use as a weapon. Now, usually in combat, you do this like really quickly, but with a lot of force, which is why you can only do one of them for this version.
And it's why they're weaker than like my normal crystals, which just like pull out of the suit.
Yeah, which works like what's his name?
Because
what's her name from Airbender? Oh,
yeah, well, like because the idea is like that I can do what I'm doing there on the suit a lot easier while I'm doing other things. So I can like repair the crystal that's been used while I'm doing other things. But if I'm trying to create a crystal just on hand, it's a lot harder.
Yep. Exactly, sir. But no diamonds from poop. So moving on. You so you form this crystal in your hand, and you try to do like a slight reshaping of it. So rather than turning it into its weapon form, you leave it in its natural form, like showing it for a couple moments before it kind of like you allow it to just kind of like dissipate in your hand, showing it to the creature. The creature continues to look at it, and then waits a few extra moments. And when you're thinking you're going to get no response again, all of a sudden you can see that it's very bright. I almost wish I had a big old hat, like a lady's "I'm going to go watch the horse race" kind of hat. But you can see it's like dips for just a moment and like looks back up.
Okay, I'm gonna hope that is a good sign. Now I know that they didn't talk via language. Do I know how they talk based on what Virgil
No,
rolled?
unfortunately, no.
Okay, so Virgil wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, you know that they're not being animals. They don't have the same physiological design as animals.
No. That's where I got to put my meta knowledge aside because I know how they talk.
You can maintain being a vegetarian if you choose to eat one.
That's good.
I'm just saying, if you want to consume an entire society of Namomycin, you can still be a vegetarian.
So not knowing if whether that it understood my my missive before, I'm going to do it again, saying, "Can you take me to him? Sorry, can you take me to my crystal? Can you take me to my crystal?" Yeah.
You're good. You're good. You're good. So you say that to the creature, and when you say that to the creature, trying to kind of like share that knowledge or whatever to it, there's like a moment. And by the way, when you do this missive ability, there's only two ways that you can activate this. In case you you weren't aware, sir, you either need to spend a PowerPoint to cast it, or you must spend psionic
You're correct.
focus.
I have to. Well, no, when it's so, it's different. I actually realized that it's when it's part of my suit, I can do it as a psi-like ability, but I'm not in my suit, so you're correct.
Yeah.
So I'll spend points.
No. You're fine. You have double. Well, you don't have your crystal with you, so you have a psionic focus. So you expend the focus. I can imagine what your character does. You just take a moment.
Oh yeah,
Collect yourself for like 6 seconds, and then you expend it immediately afterwards to send that message over, right?
Yeah.
And the creature, again, several seconds pass without it responding, without it seeming to give any big response, and then all of a sudden, it spores. You actually see it's not very so at first it's like super noticeable for an extremely perceptive person like yourself. At first it's very noticeable because you see like a thick cloud kind of like rolling out from under its head. For somebody that's very perceptive like yourself, you can actually see that its big old mushroom cap, its whole head, is actually like almost like imagine somebody's like nervous and their hand like twitching because like how scared they are. Their head is actually like vibrating with nerves, and it's actually causing spores to fall from the undercap of the head, and actually it's like raining down. But as it does so, the spores are almost kind of like starting to roll out like a mist along the area where all the shrieking mushrooms are, and even spill out to maybe another like because of its spores don't extend forever, spills out for getting thinner and thinner and thinner as they go, so it's really hard to notice them without the correct lighting or whatever kind of shimmering off them. Again, I always reference like dust in the morning light coming through your window. You know, you see where the lights come through your window, right? So anyways, you can see it extends maybe like another 2, maybe 3 feet or so, like maybe a meter past the area that the shriekers are in, is how far the spores go out. So this is like almost weird, a head vibration with the spores falling out of the cap that roll across the shriekers with another like meter stretching beyond the things, which is you're like a good bit away from where those shriekers are. So you would have to like walk up to that.
So can I do a sense motive? Because I'm hoping I want to trust it. Well, I don't know what it's doing now. Can I do a sense motive to see if I can figure out what it's doing? Because Tesh knows what it's doing. I don't.
Did you see what Green said in chat?
What do you say?
Before we you turn to Viggo?
Oh.
Yeah.
Bad Green.
Okay, so go ahead. You turn to Viggo. What do you say to him?
No, I was saying, can I do a sense motive to see if this is like
you can
what to do here?
You can. You get big old penalties, or I affect it on the DC side because you because it is not something you're familiar with.
Okay, well, I can ask Viggo if I do poorly anyway.
Are you happy with your 18? Oh, sorry, 19. I'm allowing the penance to stick for this whole scene because it came to the end of combat and I don't want it to be wasted. By the way, Viggo got an aid, but I didn't apply it because again, he was removed from the combat and I didn't want to. If he doesn't get to use it this session, I'll refund it at the end. But
if that's 23, then I will roll up because that's a lot more likely to get to 25. I'll leave. Hopefully this is enough. Come on. Hey, 26.
So 26 with penalties involved. You're actually able to get the impression off of it that whatever it's doing, it's not meant to be aggressive. Like you're curious, you don't understand what it's doing, but you don't think this is an aggressive action, especially with you being as far away from it as it is. Honestly, you have no clue what is going on. Your character has no basis of understanding of mushrooms.
Knowing that's not aggressive, that's good enough for now. So I would Viggo. I've got one of the minicin here. It seems friendly. It's doing something. I think you might understand this better than me. I think I
with that,
don't know
Viggo will
how it talks, but yeah.
he'll move toward you and kind of observe what's going on. Now, can I make a check to see if because I don't know that these creatures, that's the way that they communicate, because we already rolled for that.
Correct.
Is there anything else in Eroth that communicates in a similar way, or anything that I've like heard about? You know what I mean? Read about.
Nope. This is very unique.
All right. Well, then
But you can absolutely, observing it as he pulls it to your attention and kind of like converses with you really quickly, you can go ahead and roll me a dungeoneering check again, sir.
Dungeoneering.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget you get a +1 from green, and you can spend the 6 seconds.
Yeah, I'll add that in now. Oh my God!
Wow, lots of it's because of all the 20s. This is payback for Pete. So that is did you add the +3 in there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Wow. So that's you're rocking an actual 15. That's up to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to luck that?
I don't think I'm gonna get high enough.
It's up to you. DCs aren't always based off 5s.
That's true.
Up to you, man. Because we need to know where to talk to these things, so.
I mean, I'll try just to move forward.
Sure. So you don't luck it? Okay. Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So with your 18, you actually get the impression that with these being shrooms and how they must communicate with one another, how it is that they must be able to kind of like, because a Shrieker and Neomycin are not the same creature. They're very, 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 very different. That's like saying that a horse and a human are the same, right? So that being said, it's spores that it's doing there. You think to yourself, this might be a way of dousing those spores. You saw that these creatures can move through the spores without it shrieking. You saw that even the carrion crawlers can move through the spores without them shrieking. But if you guys move near them, you witnessed it does shriek, both by what you heard about the crystal and by what you witnessed of Gallon. Maybe what it's doing is dousing the spores so you can approach without them shrieking.
Okay. I'm not sure, Gallon, though. Maybe it is pacifying the other mushrooms so we can approach.
Okay. Stay back. I'll try. And I'm going to slowly walk forwards towards the shrieking. Also trying not to make sudden movements because I don't want to scare him.
And so I imagine you want to go first, and Tristan's like, more or less just like, hey, to get your attention, so like look back over his shoulder, and it just gives you like that head nod and that look like, you want me to come with you, or are you good?
I'm gonna, because I don't know whether this is worst case scenario. This incapacitates me, and if 2 of us go down, that's real bad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no. Stay back. I got this, at least for now.
Okay, so he kind of gives you that head nod and you look, and you actually, no, it's okay.
It just in case he like grabs a bit of rope, ties it on his arm, and throws it out of the thing, ready so you can drag him out if worst case scenario happens.
Yep.
And then he's
So
gonna.
that's when he's like, no. And then he takes like another step forward, and he stops and thinks for a second. And he actually like, stops walking forward, unties some rope, and like wraps around his arm a few times, and kind of throws it back and lets it dangle. And
so he can pull me out.
and Tristan will actually chuckle to himself as you do that. And he grabs Carrick by the what's that called? By the bridle, and leads Carrick over, again kind of chuckling to himself as he does so. And he'll grab, as he gets up there, he'll grab the little bit of rope that's there. And because Tristan's a real man, he rides Western because that's what real men ride. Actually, I don't care how you ride, have fun. On a horse, it's fun either way. But so he grabs it and he gives it like a triple loop around the horn real quick and does like a tuck through. But it's just like a very simple knot real quick if need be. And then once again, just kind of like hangs back and almost like a half lean on Carrick, getting ready to give the commands to pull back if need be. You know what I mean? But giving you more than enough slack that if Carrick moved 10 feet or less, it wouldn't impact you either. Hello, Unspeakable. 50
And speak of that, oh my
months.
fucking god.
51 months.
I cast Magic Missile at Daelric's beard.
Is that why it's turning gray? 51 months. What is how long is 51 months?
Could a good enough mage do something like that with Magic Missile, like just shave off hair? Because it's like perfectly accurate, isn't it?
It is perfectly accurate, yeah. I go to the barber and somebody has like a wand of like Magic Missile rapid fire. It's like a Gatling gun of Magic Missile.
Your entire head just has Magic Missile swarming it. That'd be terrifying.
It would be. But the best part is because it can't miss. You could do that while like going about your day. Like you could have that going off while you were like,
they couldn't
getting
flinch
dressed.
and like, yeah, they could like, even if you flinching wouldn't do anything because it's perfectly accurate. It would just move with your head.
Yeah, exactly. You could
That's
literally
terrifying.
be in the shower and shaving, but like without being too concerned, like not a big deal.
That gave bad images.
That's some high tier magic item, though. Gatling gun of Magic Missile. Oy.
Okay, so I'm gonna enter with all that stuff aside.
All right. So you take those last couple steps, and then you got like, outside the perimeter that you think might shriek, and then you walk closer to the point where the spores had already settled. So there's not like really a cloud there. Maybe on the inner part to where it was more dense. There's still something you can see moving around, but there's no more spores that you see about. And then you take those last couple steps to be literally so like your leg is almost brushing against a Shrieker shroom. And it's not screaming. It's not shrieking at all. Nothing else happens at the moment.
Okay. In that case, I would have picked up the ration that I had before, that I put down before. I'll pick it up and sort of hold it out.
Hold on,
towards
Unspeakable. To be clear, you're scared now. We haven't talked about using the Gatling magic missile cannon to get a Brazilian yet. Okay, let's just say.
And we're not going to.
Okay.
So I'm going to offer the ration to it, as if like, do you want this?
And you say that with the missive again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I imagine you have your constipation face on for about 6 seconds to regain sonic focus. And I donate to have a TED talk about it. And you release to say, do you want this inside the thing? And as you release to do that, you actually witness again several seconds pass where nothing happens. And then all of a sudden the thing vibrates significantly more, for lack of better phrasing, violently than it did before. Before you could barely notice the vibration. This time you almost seem like you could see the head actually having a bit of a swivel to it. So instead of like it's actually like almost like a swivel, not like back and forth, but literally has like almost, because again, you have to imagine a big wide flat plane, almost like a gyration to it, as a different type of spore comes dropping down in a much thicker cloud that quickly kind of like rolls outwards.
He's like holding the ration out, just closes his eyes, like, this is happening.
And as that happens, sorry, I was just reading. As that happens, all of a sudden you start feeling this like weird tingly sensation, not in your fingertips or hand or anything like that, but in your nose, and you start getting this weird tingly sensation like you have to sneeze. And you start feeling this weird, almost like tingling feeling in your ears and whatnot. And then, like I said, that tingling up in your nose makes you really have to sneeze. And we all know before you sneeze, what do? You
breathe
inhale
in.
a good bit, and as you inhale, so many of these spores go up and into your sinuses and up and into your mouth, coating the inside of your mouth and traveling up from the back of your throat, up and further into your sinuses and the cavities back there,
That
down
day
your
was
throat
the
a little
first time
bit.
Galen got high.
You say that, but you don't know what Jake puts in your drinks. He's just kind of like Polyscia, whatever it's called.
Yeah, something like
Touche.
So
that. I don't have that thing to share my extracts yet, so hasn't happened.
So you want to share your extracts, huh? And then you let out a big achoo! But as you do so, it just ends up like kicking up significantly more spores in the area. So as you're like, after the sneeze, you just end up inhaling more. So anything that would have been kicked out by the sneeze immediately just kind of goes back in. And then you get this.
I've done that like waft of dust into sneeze, into sneeze, into sneeze, into sneeze.
And that's why the inspections go the way they do.
Touche.
Sorry. I think that I genuinely think that's like BS.
That's a bit of an extreme.
Yeah. I don't think people should be allowed to put on gloves and visit your home that often. That's gross. But either way, comes to the United States. Here we have freedom. Did I do it right? Did I do it right, big brother? Did I do it right? Can I get health insurance now, please? No.
Did you know we're having freedom marches and protests here in Australia because of the lockdowns?
It's great. One of my favorite things is like at work we've been, because my company donates a lot to St. Jude. It's a decent sized donator like many other companies are, and we at this time of year have like a lot of like talks about St. Jude and the significance of it and how you as an employee can have money come directly out of your paycheck pre-taxes to donate to them and that kind of a thing. And people will share stories of St. Jude and they're like these donations are the only way we can stop these families from going poor for da-da-da. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, it's a touching story, but you know what else helps? Universal health care. Just saying, universal health care could also solve the problem of what you're describing. So, but, that's...
You want to know what one of their demands were for the freedom protest? The mass distribution of ivermectin, vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc.
Well, you know what? How about we just distribute some vaccines? Moving on.
Yeah.
So, over here, the debate is whether or not we're going to have boosters, which honestly, I have no problem getting a booster. Again, you get a hepatitis shot. It takes 3 shots. So to me, 3 shots for COVID doesn't bother me.
Flu, you have to get boosters because
every year. Yep.
There's so many different strains. They just do update to the top. The most common strains, they do a booster for those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either way,
let's avoid this rabbit hole.
Yeah. So moving on. Where were we? Okay, so you breathe deep, and then all of a sudden you get this weird sensation. It almost feels like a ringing in your ears, but like not like one of those times that I don't know if it's ever happened to you or anybody else in chat, but sometimes if you're like at the grocery store over by the area where they have like the refrigerated goods or whatever it is, or if you walk into a room with like an old TV that you didn't see but you can tell is on even though you're not looking at it, because that like strange super high frequency kind of like.
Oh, I'm one of those people that I hear electricity. Like I know when a plug is. So, because our plugs turn off, I know when a plug is turned on and nothing's plugged into it. I can hear that ringing.
So that's what I'm talking about. That like really high pitch, almost like buzzing noise is kind of like what you're getting as like almost like a white noise in your ears for a bit. But it's not just that noise. That noise also causes like a weird tingling sensation that you can kind of like almost like feel in not only in your ears that buzzing, but it's like a weird, almost like you ever get like a tickle on the inside of your ear where you're just kind of like you have this weird tickle, and you also feel that same tickle up in your sinuses, almost like you have to sneeze again. But again, a dissatisfying tickle where you're like, I know I have to sneeze, but I also can tell that I'm never going to be able to sneeze from this tickle. It's just like a whole same thing as like a tickle in the back of your throat. Like, if you cough, it's going to make you feel better for just during the cough, and immediately after it's going to come back and not go away. So this is like full sensation, kind of like just discomfort that happens for a few seconds as you're in there. It's like, oh no, what did I just inhale? And you're kind of like sitting there thinking to yourself, you're probably even coughing a little bit. And you have Viggo, I imagine, being like, you okay? Or Tristan being like,
I would just like hold up a hand, like, as I'm like,
Viggo is documenting this. 100%.
Actually, yeah.
He just turned over his page about the eating processes of the carrion crawler and just starts a new one on the
if I see him
communication of neomycin.
Yeah, if I see him doing that, I'll like describe that it doesn't hurt. It's just
I'm actually going to interrupt even you're saying that, because like this happens while you're trying to describe or whatever. And then all of a
Okay.
sudden, this like white noise, tingling discomfort, that persists for a minute, and then you finally hear and you swear you hear this noise in your mind. And I don't mean in your mind, like you're actually a psionic character. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah.
You're a genuine psionic character who has actually experienced psionic communication with your goddamn psi crystal as well as others and whatnot before. It doesn't feel the same. You don't feel it in your mind. You hear it. You genuinely hear it in your ears, but not like anything you've ever heard before. It doesn't have that echoing sound of being in the chambers. It is like the most
sounds like
clean
it's
noise.
in my ear.
It sounds like it's in your ear. You actually hear something just say, no. And you understand it. But the fun part is the word no is one of those words that, like, just like in the real world, the simple word no can be said the same. You don't know what language it is because there are many different types of no. I could say no, and that's the same as in like 15 languages.
Is that you? Can I hear you? And I'll say this out loud this time.
So you say out loud, can I hear you? And here's the fun part. Because you say that out loud, it vibrates through your throat using their spore
Whoa.
speak that they have. It vibrates through your throat, and it's vibrating in your throat actually sends those vibrations that are in your throat, altering them slightly to move through this cloud of spores that's settling down around you, and the continued spores that you can't see really in the air continues through them to the neomycin, and it picks up those vibrations, not the vibrations that actually come out of your vocal cords, but that travel through the spores, and it hears those vibrations. And you said that in which language?
Parent at this stage. That was like almost like a reaction to the hearing the sound, so he would just say it in. Actually, he might say it in Tasian if he was doing it as like a reaction.
Sure. Oh yeah, because that's your
Tasian
instinctive
would be
language,
his
yeah.
first language. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so you would say it in Tasian, and it would actually respond to you, strangely enough, telling you, I do not understand these words. So, or I should say, my apologies. We do not understand these words, it would say to you, but it says it to you, and you understand it in the language that you know least of the three. It says it in Glyn.
Oh, okay. Then I would reply in Glen, I'm sorry, is this better?
And you would actually see the mushroom head kind of dips once again a little bit of a dip, giving you the idea that it understands what a nod is, and also giving a
Okay.
visual aid for the others to kind of like witness that happening. But then it also it'll speak to you again in your through those vibrations of what you can understand as being Glyn. It speaks to you again through those vibrations and tells you, you need not echo. I can hear you. So you need to echo. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I assume it's Gallon's going to take that as like you don't need to speak as loud, just sort of like speak as I can just do the. I don't have to produce the sound so much as the vibrations of it, so I can just sort of say it. I can't. Gallon wouldn't really think about trying to speak without giving sound, so he's just going to lower his voice.
Yeah, that's fine. Your library style. 6-inch voices.
Before
Use that phrase, Jake.
I showed you my crystal. Do you know where it is?
Show you my crystal. Do you know where it is? It'll respond saying, we saw it taken.
Okay, so you're not part of the same group that took it.
We saw it taken by our colony.
Oh, okay. We and I'm sort of going to gesture to all this. We mean you no harm. We're here for information. We originally were looking to find information on maybe who had been through here, but my crystal came in first. Would I be able to retrieve him? Maybe talk to your people?
It gives a bit of a nod again, and you didn't get to hear the vibrations. Our colony has the crystal. Our colony seeks to understand. Our colony is not close to here. Dangers lie between where we are and where the colony is hidden.
Okay, and I'm going to deliberately sort of try and rephrase it so that they know what's going on. Like I'm going to say, okay, well, given that there's dangers in the way, we can gesturing to us, we can help fight them off. If you would take us to the colony.
Alan,
Yeah.
can you see if it can hear us? Like, does it understand us, but we can't hear it?
I'll ask. So I'm going to say that I understand that. I think you're talking through the spores. Yes. Can you understand them without the spores, or do they need to enter the spores as well?
We have been told stories by our colony. We have been told stories of conversations had with people that walk and bathe in the sun. We have been told that the sounds we hear when we hear you speak without our spores to aid us, that what we hear is similar to what you would hear if others who walk under the sun were to speak to you from above water while you were beneath it.
I'm going to turn towards Jake and say, barely, but unintelligible. He described it as, I was about to say,
I would say unintelligible, difficult, but not unintelligible.
Difficult. Not. I would say that then. Yeah, difficult. He described it as someone above water speaking to someone below water. So he can understand.
Writing, and he says, ask him if anyone who speaks to them via the spores has any adverse effects.
I would actually reply saying he's mostly talking of tales of this. I'm not sure if they've had much contact with us, but I'll try. And he turns back. I would say he would be saying that some of the stuff in Perrin to Jake. Actually, you know what? Out of kindness, he actually probably would be speaking in Glyn. Does Jake know Glyn? Does Viggo know Glyn? Yeah, then he would be saying it in Glyn because he doesn't want to be rude to him.
I'm pretty sure Tristan speaks Glyn too, doesn't he?
No,
he only speaks Perrin because he's dumb.
I remember. Do you remember when I first met him? I was like, "Oh, you're half hobgoblin. Do you speak Glyn?" And he's like, "Nah, bro."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that now.
And then we had you're Spanish. You speak Spanish, right? We had that conversation.
Yeah. So I would turn back and say, "Do you know of anyone?"
Reminds me of a stand-up comedy where the guy was like, more or less, he was talking about Mexico and how somebody was confused about what ethnicity this person might be, and he's like, "I don't know if you realize this, but if you go to Mexico, there are Asian people that live there, and here's the really difficult part: they speak Spanish as well." It's like,
God damn it. So I'm going to turn back and just ask, do you have you had much contact? Have you talked with many people? What was the term you used? Like people those that walk in the sun?
Yeah. Those that walk in under the sun.
Have you had much contact with those that walk under the sun? Do you know if there's any adverse effects to the way that you communicate?
We rarely witness those that walk under the sun. We have seen groups enter in from where you just came. We have seen groups be ambushed and consumed by that which you just defeated. We have seen groups oftentimes come in and flee, realizing that this is not their home. We have even once seen a group leave that's never entered.
Ooh, that one. I'm going to ask, do you know much about that group that left, that never entered here?
We were sure to not be seen by any groups that came or that have left.
How
But
do they
did you see
perceive?
them? Well, that's a good point. I don't know. Galen would ask, but did you see them? Because he doesn't think about that side of things. He's just like, you're
Viggo
a main
can hear
kitten,
you
that's
talking
fair.
to it. He just can't hear the answers.
Yep.
So
That's true.
he would just yell out to you, kind of thing, like, "How do they perceive?"
My friend is asking, how do you perceive? How do you see? And he sort of gestures to his eyes.
Yep. It thinks for a second, and then it responds saying, by seeing.
I would just turn and say, he says by seeing. It might. It's a bit of a complex question for me to ask properly. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to turn back and this link that we have now with the spores, is it a permanent thing, temporary? How does this work?
We do not understand, as our contact with your kind is limited. As far as we understand, you will produce lots of goopy liquids inside of your body. These liquids will inevitably remove these spores from inside of you. But
Okay.
we could be wrong in this. It is rare that we have seen the liquids produced from your insides.
So on that note of it being a rare occasion, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Galen.
You say that, and you say, "My name is Galen," and it will respond saying, "We are curious. Is this name for you, or is this name for all of you?"
It is a name for me as an individual.
It nods its head, seeming to satisfied with the answer.
Galen,
Yes.
did this particular Nemomycin see those that left?
Turn back. Did you in particular see the group that left from here but never entered?
We maintained our discretion. We stayed hidden. We did not engage, as we never do, but also they were of a concern to us. They were covered in spores and even the blood of our kin. I should say the fluids of our kin.
Sorry, he's okay. Would you recognize them if you saw a recreation of them, a picture of them? He doesn't know if they understand what a picture is, so he said sort of a recreation first. And I'm actually going to pull out. No, you have the drawings, right?
Yeah.
Not me. Yeah. And while I'm a recreation, I'm just going to sort of like gesture to you as if like, get it out.
Yeah. So I'll hand it to you. Like approach and hand it to you.
Okay.
And I'll show it.
Okay. So you walk up and you hand over the parchments or whatever. I imagine keeping a bit of a distance there. And you hand the parchments and you display the parchments to try to show the images. It seems to be looking at them, but doesn't give a response.
Okay. I'm gonna hand it back.
Because you just like hold it out, but it's still a distance from you. It's not like it's look right in front of you. Like, hey, buddy, high
okay.
five. You know, it's you are just on the outside of where the Shriekers are, and it's within the Shriekers.
May I approach?
You asked, may I approach? And it responds saying, it may not be a good idea, as we are guarded from those that walk under the sun.
You mean I'm going to point to one of the Shriekers. We call them Shriekers.
It actually shakes its head in a way that you believe means no.
Okay.
And then you can actually see like almost like a little bit of a spore kind of comes out. And then several of the mushrooms actually stand up and are literally holding spears. And you realize, oh, shit, there's like not one Namomycin here, the small sized one that you had seen. There are others that are tiny sized here as well that you didn't realize are hidden among the other Shriekers that are here. Because you don't know what they look like. So you start a group of tiny sized Shriekers over here, but apparently there are also tiny sized Namomycin that are here as well, with this one small sized one amongst them.
Impressive camouflage. I'm sorry I didn't notice. Hello. I'm assuming they can hear me, so that's what he says.
It'll respond saying, we hear, we understand.
Do you have I'm sensing the way that you talk about your colony. Do you have a connection with the other members of your colony?
It says, the whole colony, we are all connected. We are all one.
Okay. Then do you mind if I show this? And he's going to hold the parchment up to one of the and he's going to gesture to one of the smaller ones that's near him.
I mean, you can hold it out and it says, it can be seen.
Okay. Did one of the people that left look like this?
Those are markings on a bit of paper. Paper, I believe, is what you call it.
Okay.
I have seen no markings on paper. Or sorry, we have seen no markings on paper come through this area before.
So I'm going to roll it up, understanding that that's not going to work with them. So go to hand it back.
Hold on, let me make a 3D model first. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how does disguise self work?
You can literally look like anything at any.
Can I disguise myself to look like the image I have of Rena?
You might want to warn me before you do that, so I can.
I know.
Yeah. So you can go plus or minus 1 foot in height. You can go plus or minus, I think it's like 20% of your body weight. You could change to have any hair color, facial structures, whatever it is. It's a little bit more difficult when you go to a different gender and a different what's the word I'm looking for? A different gender or a different species, like a race. Sorry.
Oh, species. Yeah.
But overall, yeah, you can. But you and Rena are both Perrin, aren't you? And you're also you're gonna have to bulk up a bit because Rena is buff as a mofo.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, but you can absolutely try. You can definitely roll a disguise self with a plus 20 by casting the spell.
Yeah.
So you roll up the parchment,
not just do it.
Right?
So,
yeah, I'm well aware. So you roll out the parchment. Do you say anything?
I'm gonna hand it back, saying I don't think they can comprehend this drawing as easily as we would in terms of what someone looks like. And he's like extending the hand to pass it back.
I take it and I say, I could attempt to transform the way I look to look like Rena the Destroyer. But I don't want to startle them, especially if they were the ones that apparently attacked the other mushrooms. The way that I'm working things out, especially listening to you and my own thoughts, it seems to be like a hive mind.
At the very least, they have a connection with the other members of their colony. It may not be a direct hive mind, but to be specific, when I explained my name, they asked if that was my name or our name. So I think they think in our sense more than my sense. But yes, I'm really sorry. I really have to be right back real quick.
You're fine, man.
I waited as long as I could.
So Jake, go ahead.
I'll warn them.
I
first,
would.
so before I go, as you do the
I would
rolls, I'll
ask.
say, oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I would just ask Galen to ask it if I could talk to it.
He's got it. Yep. So,
yeah, so I'll very
yep,
quickly just say, my friend is going to use a spell to make himself look like the person that we were talking about. He's not going. It's not the actual person, just to see if you recognize them.
Perfect. Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to ask if I could just talk to them as well, so it makes things easier.
Okay. So,
but I don't know if it wants to go through Galen or not.
You imagine that it says it would respond to Galen, saying more or less, all that take the spores will have the spores within, and kind of like Galen, like it seems like so you kind of come over, and it's one of those fun things where you come over and you just breathing over there, you'll take in a little bit of the spores, but it'll also kind of like shed a bit more of it. And you can see tons of spore kind of coming out. And same as I described beforehand, it's like tickling the senses. It causes you to like cough and sneeze and whatnot, which makes you breathe in more. Eventually, there's that kind of like high-pitched noise. And eventually, you once again hear it inside of your mind, separate from anything you've ever heard or experienced before. But as you like go to almost think to yourself, whatever, like, this is strange, but like one of those things where you're thinking to yourself almost like loud thoughts, like where you're like, almost like you're moving it, like, like one of those kind of to yourself moments, but not entirely internal. It'll say to you, it almost like responds to you saying, our way of speech, of understanding is foreign to those that are designed like you.
I've noticed. Do you speak a language called Glyn? Do you understand any others?
So it'll it thinks for a few moments, and then it responds saying, we understand ourselves. We understand rudimentary or basic ideas of your emotions, if emotions is the best way to describe what I mean using this language. But for a higher understanding of one another, we understand the words of this language, a language of a peoples we encountered as a colony long ago, but do not know any longer. Just remember from that time before.
That's interesting. So you learned the speech of somebody encountered in the past. And you still remember it, even though it's been so long.
Memories, experiences, learning. They are not easily forgotten. Our colony needs all to survive.
Does that mean that you have a memory or can experience something that was long ago, that happened long ago to members that are not
Thank you.
here anymore?
It thinks for a moment. I do not know how to answer that question. Or sorry, we do not know how to answer that question.
Those that left, did they? So I can't remember. I think it was only said to Tesh.
Once more with
You didn't relay about them killing Nemesis or something, did you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't specifically say that because I was hard to convey without just repeating
Yeah.
that they lost things, and I didn't want to remind
Yeah.
them of slaughter.
So I would say,
Um,
go ahead.
Yeah,
Tesh.
so depending on what you say, he might butt in, but yeah.
Yeah. He would say,
He did
Those
say
that-
those that left without entering multiple times. So you'll
Yeah.
know that like that's one of the things he said.
He would be talking to Galen as much as to this thing at the same time, saying, the ones that left without entering, it was hard before I was able to speak with you, but you perceived them or perceived them leaving.
And I would say, and it looked like that they had killed some of their colony before exiting.
Were you able to? He
Pardon?
stops.
Oh, our kind, that's right, not colony. That was that the word? I would try to repeat it the same word.
It's okay. So it says, we noticed some leave that we did not notice enter.
I see. And would you be able to recognize them at all?
Thanks for a moment. We are not sure.
Are you familiar with the concept of magic?
We have been told of such things. We have been told of the wonders that some can do with words and symbols. We have been told of the devastation that can be caused by such practices, that countless members of colonies can be destroyed with a few words said through one's throat.
Yes, magic can be used for good or for great evil. However, my use of magic, I can use something similar. However, I don't speak. I'm able to transform what I look like. Do you understand?
There are many creatures that can change the way they appear.
Yes. Well, I am looking for someone, and I'm not sure if this someone is the same person that you've seen. So if I transform to look as much as I can like that person, will you be able to tell me if you've seen them?
We do not know.
Would it be okay if he tried?
The kind of power that you speak of should belong in no individual's hands. An individual is not someone that should have this kind of control without an understanding of its impact of those around them. This kind of power is a concern to us and our colony. If you were to use this power before us, understand that we will safeguard if things seem to go awry.
I understand. Now, if I take this and look like somebody you've seen before, you must understand I am not that person.
We understand the nature of what you speak.
He'll turn to Tesh and say, should I?
I think so. There's no chance of your spell failing, is there? I don't remember there being. You
No.
seem to do your stuff pretty.
This
Safely?
isn't exactly precise in the way I'll look. I'm going to do my best to appear as naturally as possible.
Yes, but I mean, there's no way that they can perceive what happens as a threat, right? You're just changing your appearance.
Well, they're aware of things that can change shape, so it shouldn't come as big of a shock.
Okay, so if you just
and he
change
will-
and then change back
Yeah.
after a little bit, then that should be fine. And he says it. He's the way he says it as he's starting to talking to Viggo, and then as he's saying that should be fine, he'll sort of like move his gaze to the other one, to the big one, and just say, "Right, that should be okay."
It seems a nod.
Okay.
Right. Well, Viggo slowly takes out a vial of shimmering liquid, slowly uncorks it,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll step back and he'll drink it, and he'll try and shape it as much as possible to be what he believes Rena to look like.
I'll affect the way that the DCs are, the way that your modifier gets affected. I'll just do it on the DC side. So just roll your disguise over the +20 from that spell, because I'm pretty sure that spell gives you a +20.
Can I use missive to guide him? I'll be happy to spend the power points, but like, no, a little bit less of the, a little bit less of the the height of the
sorry.
eyebrow, a little bit lower.
+10 to be clear, not +20, +10. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Missive to guide.
I said, can I assist him with missive, being like, spending power points so I can do it instantly, being like, no, lower the eyebrows a little bit, broaden the shoulders, because I'm the one that has like the memory of what she looks like.
This is what he's gonna do. He's gonna sit there and be like, no, you need to make those lips a little bit more fuller. Yep, okay. Raise up those cheekbones a little bit more. I don't know.
That's okay. That's a 20 because of
Yep.
the increase from before.
All right. So it's a 20 total. Are you comfortable with that 20? Oh, you already have.
I already locked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you're trying to aid another. You absolutely can do that. You don't have to miss it for it, but you can absolutely aid another using your own disguise check.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Or we disguise check to 0, but let's have a look. See. I got it. What's the DC again for assisting? It's 10, right?
10 to give it +2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm going to try and do this because this could work out really well for us.
There
Yes!
you go. 22.
Because that was a 9, so a luck die automatically gives him the +2.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, cool. So you had a 19, so it's a 20. So that's actually a 20 is what you rolled, right, Jake? Because of green. So there's 22 total.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So it watches you transform and like a little bit of tweaking and whatnot happening to it, and then you turn to it and you just kind of like. So anyways, you should I stand up and do a full-on Rena impersonation? Do we want to clip
Yes.
it and send to Rena? Do you think she'd appreciate that very much?
Hey, look who's in chat.
Oh,
I thought I was waiting for you to be like, "Oh God, it's Rena." No,
I was.
Niels.
I was like, she's not awake at 6 a.m, but okay.
No, she wouldn't be awake.
All right.
There is no way in hell Rena would be awake right now.
No. She's not a real adult. So you sir, do your transformation, and it'll stop. Think for a moment and say, you look from the way that you have become is somewhat familiar to what we have seen. There are many differences.
I see. Differences. How so?
Your height is wrong. Your smell is wrong.
Of course, because yeah.
Stinky pinky ring. Your
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
your width is wrong. Before, the creature we saw had a sheen to it, similar to the one we see before us now. And you can see like a head dart over towards Gallon.
Okay, so that's armor probably. It means.
Ah, I see.
Also,
Okay.
the expression on your face is entirely wrong. This one that we had seen has something that can only be described as RBF.
So I would say, okay, that's actually those things would be what we wouldn't know from what we've seen. Those are the differences. Those are differences that are is good for us to know. But it does sound like this person was someone you've seen.
This is very important. Very.
Were they the ones that left without coming in through here?
One of.
That's perfect. That's fantastic.
How many
Thank
were
you.
they with?
Oh, yes.
Ensure a moment. 2 others.
Well, that's I think we were aware, weren't we, that there were 3?
Yeah, one's a
From your
it
friends?
was with 2 others. One's
one
a
was
shapeshifter, and one was
Yondas.
Yondas.
They
Yeah.
literally, they said it. Yeah.
That's actually fantastic. So we don't really need. That's really.
I mean,
good to
we've
know
just
that this was their
confirmed
exit.
that they were here. You know what I mean?
This was their exit. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, this has been a great help. Can I end the spell?
I'm pretty sure it's dismissible.
Yeah.
Or at the very least,
I will.
At the very least, you could just transform yourself back into yourself. It's dismissible.
I will do that. Stating, I'll say, I'm going to transform back to myself now, and then I will do it. And then I'll say, Gallon, this helps greatly. This confirms what we
Indeed.
thought, especially gathering the evidence that we've seen outside and the fact that this sewer probably goes throughout the entire city, if not to where the palace is itself. Now there's just a matter of your crystal.
Yes.
It's the only business we really have down here now.
Yes. I'm going to turn back and say thank you. That information helps us greatly. I had a realization. I'm not sure what your people eat, but and I'm going to gesture towards the carcass. Would you want to take that with you back to your colony? Would that be something that your people would want?
We do not return to our colony. We were born here, and we are set here, and eventually time will take us.
Okay. So that okay. So you wouldn't be able to show us back to your colony. Would you want us to take it to your colony for you?
Or could they bring the crystal back here?
Or yeah, or would you be able to tell your colony to bring the crystal back here?
We do not know the way to the colony, as knowing the way to the colony would be a way for others to know a way to the colony.
Okay. I have an idea of the direction to your colony because of the crystal. I had a link with it. As I assume they're probably going to understand that more than most people when I say I had a link with it.
When you say you kind of know the direction of the colony, Viggo, going to take a step back there.
Yeah, it's would you allow me to retrieve my crystal, or if you wanted, we could bring and I'm going to sort of gesture to the carcass as a gift to your people.
Food. Sorry, it says sustenance is in abundance here. There is no concern for such things. And gifts that service the colony are always appreciated. But gifts that service the but what your kind seem to think of as gifts tend to be that of the selfish that serve the individual and have little value to the colony. There are many dangers, as has been said before, between here and where the colony is hidden. Some of those dangers are built in to the structure of this place, its design, and its function. Other dangers are that of the colony itself and its safeguards. There is nothing that can be offered for the innate dangers of where it is that you are beyond leaving it in its entirety. As for the dangers of the colony, if you are perceived as a threat, the colony will act to defend itself. We wish not to see harm come to the colony, as it seems harm coming to you will also be unnecessary. If you are going to attempt to proceed forward and attempt to make contact with the colony, any perceived threat will be treated as such, with no chances being taken. Any time a weakness is shown, it is always exploited, without exception. So, the use of weapons, the use of magics, the use of any such thing that could be seen as a danger to the colony will be seen as and treated as a threat to the entirety of the colony.
Galen, I don't believe that we necessarily need to go to the colony. I believe he said that the crystal was taken so they can understand. Well, if they're able to bring it back, you could help them understand a lot quicker and probably more thorough than they'd be able to on their own.
That's probably true. Is there any way for you to communicate with the colony and ask them to bring my crystal back, or even just let it free?
It is our responsibility to watch that who come and that who go. It is our responsibility
we talk to the right people.
to make sure that creatures innate to this place find comfort in our presence, that they may safeguard the entrances and the exits to this place. It is our responsibility to know for the sake of guarding, but not necessarily to share that knowledge, as that knowledge will simply be passed to the others that are grown within our colony here.
Okay.
So, there are others that came and took the crystal. Can they then travel back and give it back?
It is possible.
Do you have any connection with them, or do you know when they might come back?
We have no connection with them, as our pleas for help at a time of danger could lead the colony to wish to aid us and therefore threaten the entirety of the colony. We cannot contact them, as that threatens the entirety of the colony. And you notice it didn't answer the second. It didn't answer the second question. Neil can pop into the call whenever he wants. I'll just have to adjust the overlay as it happens.
Galen,
Do you know whether your people are likely to let my crystal go once they've investigated it a bit?
It is our
Or are they like-
responsibility to watch those come and those who leave, not to understand such things.
Okay.
the only hope we have, Galen, is for the others that took the crystal to come back. I don't know exactly how they communicate that, but
It's from
if
what I can
we were to go
understand.
there, it is very dangerous, not only to ourselves but to the overall mission. There must be another way
Yes.
to retrieve the crystal without going there.
From what I can understand, the only way that any sort of gestures to the others, can communicate with the colony is the alarm, the screeching, and that is not something they're willing to do unless there's actual danger, because they don't want to put the colony at risk. They also would cause the colony to come in arms, which is not something we'd like.
Yes, it seems we're at a bit of an impasse.
You said that the gifts that we think of are much more selfish. What is a gift that we might be able to give that your people would appreciate?
We do not know what it is that your kind may carry, that your kind may offer, that the colony would find alluring. Hi, Neil. What's up, you nubile sexy little thing, you?
Hey, Neil.
Hello. Good job on not dying horribly. Proud of
good.
you.
You
smash
skewered.
it.
How much damage did you do? Where is it?
48. 48 points.
48 damage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chat rolled for you, the attack roll and the damage.
They rolled
Nice.
8, 8, and 5.
Ooh.
And now we're talking with spores. We're talking with guard mushrooms by the sounds of it. They're like
look at the
sensory
stream.
mushrooms. Pardon?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Now you've made me want to look.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I put it back on you.
Is it like your look, cattail has appeared? Come here, cattail. Stop fighting.
It's because you're a tall glass of milk, baby.
Oh right. I thought that was like your bit jar with.
It is.
With something that's not Twitch.tv appropriate in it.
Neil, correct.
Hey, do you want to say hello to everyone?
All right, go ahead, Tesh.
Look who it is. Oh, yeah,
Aw,
she's a
kitty.
good cat.
I'm just trying
He's
to think
looking
of
particularly flammable this morning.
Wow.
She's always flammable.
I'm trying to think if there's
So
something that the colony can offer us as well. Like a trade.
Just so you just to catch you back up, Neil, so you're aware. You charged up, you skewered the thing. It like tried to it tried to run away after it got beat up. You charged up, you skewered it, it died. Another one came crawling out and was like going to attack you, and Viggo's like, whoa, hold up. I think they'll cannibalize for the easy meal. Back up slowly. So you prepared an actions that more or less either guard a Galen or back up if Galen
I was
able to back
underneath
up.
it.
Galen tumbled away and backed up. You backed up. It was a die roll. It chose to go for the easy meal instead. You guys literally stood back, watch it eat the second carrion crawler, eat the first dead carrion crawler, and then
Nice.
walk off. Since then, you guys have been interacting with some Nemomycin, but the Nemomycin seem to understand, even though they're using spore speak now. Originally, the only language they seem to understand is Glyn, which, funny enough, Tristan doesn't understand.
Well, Tristan has no idea what's going on.
So you actually are appropriately out of the loop. The one thing to note is that at one point in time, Galen, when he went walking up to it, tied a few around his arm a few times a rope and threw it back, which you kind of did like a triple tie around the horn of Carrick's saddle. So in case you needed to, you could just be like,
Oh
ah,
no,
and
it
Carrick
doesn't
was
have a
pulling.
horn.
Of
It's
course it
not
does.
a Western
Of course it does. Of course it is.
It's not a
Of
Western.
course
saddle.
you're right, Western Saddle, because that's a
Let's
real
get-
good
I
ride.
expected
get
this
things-
was going to be the
It's
result.
clear,
Real
right?
bad.
It's
We
not
I
an
know
American
why you
saddle.
were here.
I probably would have taken that
Sorry,
off by now.
I didn't
anyway,
realize
because
Tristan's had side saddle. Okay.
It's either A, an English
Crossed at the
saddle, or
ankles.
B, a Spanish saddle.
We can go with Spanish
Um,
saddle.
it-
That's superior. Okay.
It was because I was entering a field of spores, not knowing what would happen, not knowing that it was going to be communicating with us, and he was just like, "Just in case you need to drag me out," and he threw you the rope. But no, then since then, Jake and I have been having a conversation with it. We actually found out what we came here to find out. These guys saw Rena and 2 others exit this sewer, and they didn't enter this sewer; they exited it. So this was their exit from the city.
Interesting.
So we now have that information, which is awesome.
I love how the other 2 are just not worth naming. I just
no,
enjoy that.
we
It's just
only-
like
we only have,
Rena and 2 others.
I'm saying that because that's what we know.
Well,
Because
you know Rena.
Jake
She's
used
always
disguise. Jake used disguise self to make himself look like.
I
Rena.
yeah, I was watching.
Oh,
it,
you
yeah.
were in chat.
Hold up. Let's take this back a sec. Ophios never looks the same for too long because of his shapeshifting, right?
Yeah,
And Yondis is not only has he looked like Yondis, then it was Elijah, then it looks like Yondis is a very different Yondis, right? So it looks like Rena's always hanging around with all these different guys. You know what I mean?
No,
you know,
no.
Rena, she's with all these different guys all the time.
we
No, it doesn't.
we
It's-
unfortunately know that one of them's a shapeshifter. So
They're like
it doesn't quite work.
they're like, yes, this person came into the sewers with their 2 slaves, and you're like, what? And it's
Not
like,
yet. It was
yes,
after that.
magical energy. We could sense it.
It was
Me-
that was after the fact.
Taste the slavery.
Oh my god.
Mushroom.
Is it how can we display to your people that we are if we do go down the path to talk to your colony, how can we best display that we mean no harm?
No use of weaponry and no use of magic, as these would be perceived as threats, is what was already said.
With the spores that you have given us to communicate, will that work with others or just others of your colony or just this group?
These spores are us.
Okay. Would others of the main colony understand us if we spoke with these spores still within us?
Even to communicate individually between ourselves. And it gestures to like 2 or 3 of the other mushrooms nearby. Spores must be shared. You did not take into yourself the spores of an individual, but the spores of us.
Okay, so the spore. Okay, so do you mean the spores of any gestures this colony, or the spores of all of the colony?
You took into yourself the spores of us here before you.
Okay, thank you. I think I understand now. And I'm assuming he turns to Jake, so I don't think these spores would work with the rest of the colony. They would need to be willing to do it another way. That's something. Before, when I talked in my mind to you, did you understand what I said?
What part are you referencing?
Before I approached with and we got the link with the spores, I remember how I said missives.
Oh yeah. It's nods its big cap.
Okay. And does the rest of the colony understand the language of Glyn? This language that we're speaking?
It says, much of the colony has an understanding.
Okay, so that's at least something. I would, if I used my talent to communicate with another member of the colony, would that startle them, or would that be a good way to open dialogue?
All beings that do not belong are seen as a threat.
Galen, Viggo looks at you, and you can see the sympathy in his
Yeah.
his face, and he says, "I think the only thing we can do is retreat for now, and maybe we can find some information or think of something within the city to offer the many. Going there is too dangerous, and it puts the mission in jeopardy. I do want to
when you
get
say
back
that part,
the crystal."
When you say that part especially, he's like, okay, yes. If
At a game, I
others
really
from-
don't want to be that guy. I really like. If we were just adventurers,
No,
I would be up for going there. You know what I mean?
You made a very good point, and Gallum would actually care about that. And he would say, if we were to leave, and others from your colony come here again as before, would you be able to request that they bring the crystal back here?
If we are able to interact with the colony, the knowledge that has been gained shall be shared.
Perfect. That's all that I ask. If that happens to be that they let my friend go, then that would be fantastic. We will attempt to think of, if this continues, if there's something we can give to your colony, an offer that is a gift for the colony, not for the selfish. But in the meantime, we have things we must get to. I thank you for the chance to converse, and I'm glad we were able to do this peacefully.
Peace is the only option.
I'm sorry for alerting you before for getting too close. And I apologize, gesturing to the creature, that we had to kill one of the, as you said, the defenders of this pass. Hopefully the other one will be enough to help continue to defend this for you.
It gives you like a bitter taste, showing like more or less as you gesture to the creature, like almost like it might be important. It gives you like a bitter taste in your mouth that leads you to believe like, oh no, that's it's not like it likes these creatures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Never mind then.
Yeah. As you can imagine, these creatures, if it had an opportunity to eat a neomycin, it would. It's just,
I thought it
it's
just didn't eat them. Okay, that's
meta
fine.
knowledge. Mycin are immune to paralysis. So they make for difficult food for them, but carrion crawlers will eat anything they can.
In that case, glad we could get rid of it for you. He'll just like completely reword it, and then but thank you. Turns to Jake, so but we have to go now.
Nods. And he'll say the name of Mycin before they go. He'll say, "Can we take that?" Pointing at the dead carrion crawler.
It looks at it and then looks back at you and says, "Caution."
Oh, is it dangerous
Paralysis?
to eat once it's dead?
You asked paralysis, and the danger and whatnot. It says, it has been seen before that the others would take the opportunity to gather its meat or something else, and they find themselves equally a victim as when they were being hunted, thinking perhaps it is safe since the creature is now dead. That is not correct. Others lurk.
These things like
Others wait.
the carrion crawler did something before it left, didn't it?
Mhm.
The thing.
Oh,
They lay
yeah.
eggs.
Do you ask the creature this?
Yeah.
The name of this? It thinks for a moment and says, It has been seen that birthed from a meal, new spawn.
I see.
Okay.
Well, some of those eggs might come in handy, though.
We just have to be very careful if we're going to do that.
Want some
Yes.
omelets?
Thank you. Thank you for the warnings. That is very helpful. And thank you for everything that you've told us today. It has been very helpful to us as a whole. And he'll give like a respectful sort of like bow, and if we meet again, I look forward to it.
Of course.
And he'll back away out of the area and back the other way. Okay. Back to pairing talking now. Tristan, there is a lot to go over. First, I think we're trying to make sure this thing doesn't have any eggs in it, and if it does, I think Viggo wants them. But we have to be careful because the other one is still here, and this also may have paralytics still in it.
Right. You get them to give you your crystal back?
No, but we did find out that Rena and their group left through this tunnel.
Right. So they left through this tunnel, and they camped outside, and these boys have stolen your crystal.
Crystal is secondary at this point. They don't mean it harm, they just wish to understand. He may be able to make his way back to me, or I will attempt to come back and see if he has returned here before we leave. But for now, we have a lead. They used this to exit the city, meaning they had to enter the sewers somewhere from where they did the assassination.
I'm going to remember this when you're rich, Galen. 10,000 gold pieces, and I'll say, I just wanted to understand what it was like to have 10,000 gold pieces. And you'll say, fair enough, Tris, fair enough. You just give them back when you can, and I won't. And that'll be it. But I'm glad your little friend isn't in danger, at least.
They seem more concerned about learning and defending their colony. They wish to understand what it was. I even if they do destroy him, that'll actually be easier for me to retrieve him. But I don't believe they will destroy him. I think they genuinely just want to understand and don't mean harm.
Unfortunately,
as they-
Tris, it's
Oh yeah, sorry.
as much as we want to get the crystal back, mission comes first.
Yep, fair enough. So what we do now, trying to find where those guys came into the sewers? I mean, you'd think it'd lead out from the castle or some other
I think
such.
the next step would be to enter the city, find lodgings, and then I will see if I can get my hands on blueprints to the sewers, which will probably be pretty hard to come by. But if they are there, then we could probably start making a trace of where they went in to where they went out. We know where they went out, but
Yeah, if we can. So we know obviously where. Well, I don't know. Do we know where the assassination actually happened?
It was in the palace.
So,
Yeah.
but we know that. That's the
Oh,
thing.
it was said that he was killed in his own home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's part of the whole.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting. We have to.
That's part of the whole
find out.
gossip about this, right? It's not that like the Yovan here was killed out on the streets or during a parade or in combat or in battle. He was killed in his own home.
So
That's part of the big thing. Right?
assassinated.
Yeah.
what we can try and do is then follow. I imagine there would have been some disturbances that the guards were able to follow before they disappeared into the sewers. That'll give us a better idea. And who knows, if they disappeared within the premises of someone, that gives us information that that person let them in. That might be a link.
Exactly. And also the second part of our mission of observing the ascension of the new
Yes.
Yovan here. We have
I am
lots to do.
slightly-
Topside.
I am slightly less effective without Virgil, but I can still hold my own.
I know that Virgil helps you research. Are you able to without him?
Yes, my knowledge is nowhere near as vast as Virgil. I get Virgil to do most of the research on various things while I train.
Did you ask them to give it back?
Yes, they don't actually have any connection with the rest of their colony without raising an alarm, which they don't want to do because it would risk the colony, and they would also come bearing arms, thinking we're a threat.
Right. But isn't the little crystal bugger part of your colony? Surely they can understand that.
I think when I mentioned that I had a link with him, and I think they understood. If any of their colony comes back, and they have a chance to communicate, they will know everything. The members of the main colony will know everything this colony knows, and will understand that all that we talked about. And I've asked them to bring him back here, if they get the chance. So I will come back here and check, either at the end or when I can. All I have to do is get within, get to the entrance, and I'll know if they've brought him back, and then I can tell him to come back.
Enough.
As I said, I'm still effective in combat and stealth without him. I just do not have the recon ability that I would normally have.
Other question. Are we still Bluey and Magpie and Bandit? Or are we operating under the River King's authority?
I believe our original mission was not to reveal unless we thought it to be worth it.
It'll make some of what we do a little trickier, but I believe it's probably a good idea. More element of surprise if someone turns out to be a traitor.
Fair enough. We might struggle to get access to the places we'll need to, though, as Magpie isn't hugely well regarded.
Well, that's true. But I assume worst comes to worst, we can go back to our proper identities, but...
Fair enough. That'll be the jack up our sleeve. It becomes apparent he probably hasn't played card games.
Yeah, that's what Galen would be chuckling at, honestly. Okay. Now we should probably get out of here. Oh, we should probably deal with this, pointing to the corpse, before the other one comes back. I can assist, turning to Viggo, I can assist in any way. Tell me what to do and I'll try and help. Obviously, we want to be careful.
Yes, well, we mustn't go anywhere near the tentacles if possible. However, now that I know that I'm looking for eggs, it might be a little bit easier.
Wonder if we can feel around with something to feel for something solid.
Yeah, I was going to drag it out and do it, but more or less they were saying that it'll attract things while we're dragging it out. So it'd be easier to see if I can do it here without taking too much time.
We know what the threat is here, and we know where it went, and we already scared it off once. So that's my.
It has just eaten.
Just looks between the two of you, and he's like, "I'm sorry. Why do we want these eggs?"
Hungry.
They're it could be a very valuable alchemical resource.
Paralysis can be very useful.
All right, well, you two have fun. Karok and I will keep watch.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure carrion eggs are good at making they almost act like a gelatin, so you can make like a nice like a Jello out of it. Yeah. So Jake's character is going to be like a Dr. Huxtable, Mr. Viggo, is kind of the way he's going to go. No, or is it more of a Dr. Viggo, Mr. Huxtable? Yeah, that's probably
That
more
sounds
way.
better.
Yeah. Okay. Neil's
Right,
like,
well-
I don't get that reference. I'm too young.
I
No-
did not
no
get that
way.
reference.
That is no way. That is a possibility, but I don't get the idea that these things are very maternal. I think they're the opportunity sort of kind. Like they'll eat, lay eggs. The things will eat the corpse and then live out their own lives. I don't think that this thing's going to be very maternal.
And just to finish up, Dr. Huxtable was the character that Bill Cosby played on his TV show.
Oh,
Yeah, so he was both the Jello guy and, well, we know the rest. So, anyways, so
you're wrong.
so yeah, you want to go, and so the dangers aren't just the other carrion crawler, as this creature was. These creatures were trying to depict to you. So I imagine somebody here must be playing guard duty, while the others are looking to do some degree of extraction.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm
So-
not paid for that.
There's your guard duty.
Karok
Yeah.
and I are like ineffectually, don't get me wrong, but we're keeping watch.
You go ahead and roll your perception check.
Look, it's better than no watch.
You just call me Jake.
I said you go ahead and roll your perception check.
Oh, I thought you said,
I didn't-
roll your perception check.
I thought I heard Jake as well. Yeah.
Don't worry,
Oh, no.
guys. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Karok is.
He has
Well
Karok has low light vision and scent. FYI, as his, just so you know.
Perfect.
And then I would like to have why don't we have Green do it in chat? Go ahead and roll me a D100. High is good for the party, low is bad for the party.
Okay. Wait, does that? I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, sure. And in the meanwhile, Jake, you're getting ready to, of course, roll for extraction. Describe to me again exactly what you're doing. Before you roll, go ahead and describe to me what it is that you're doing.
Do you want me to roll for assist first, real quick?
Well, I want to know what exactly because he was describing
Oh, okay.
tentacles and eggs, and I'm trying to see exactly what it is you're trying to do.
Well, we've seen the thing more or less what we think is somehow lay eggs into it, right?
Mhm.
So, Viggo's got a lot of tools and stuff that he carries with him, so he'd probably have some
The
type
apple
of
corer, yeah.
sharp, some sharp blade and like what are the things you like open things up with? What am I calling it? What is it?
I have no
Are they
idea.
a specific type of caliper?
Yeah.
Like there's a prefix. I don't know. Norway will know. I'm sure he'll say in the chat.
Anyway, yeah, something like that can kind of like widen like the incision or like stuff like that, and
surgery tools.
yeah. So I'm going to
Is that
try
like
and
forceps?
find where I might find them. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Or
Yeah.
or a crowbar.
Yeah. So I'm going to avoid the tentacles because I'm not trying to harvest the what do you call it stuff. I don't even know if that's the side that's left or not. Anyway. Because I ate half the thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm going to be as careful as I can, and I am going to use the tools that I have at my disposal.
Okay.
I'll probably have put some gloves on, things like that. And they're probably like alchemist gloves, so they're the gloves that don't go to there, they go like up to the elbows. Yep. And
just imagining the plague doctor ones that are just like rubbery
Yeah.
and black.
so yeah, and he'll get to work about trying to locate where these eggs are.
Okay, so you're trying to get yourself all set up to specifically look for the eggs. And you can imagine that Gallon is probably with a stick or whatever it is trying to keep the tentacles away from you. So, Gallon, you can go ahead and roll a dex save to try to give him a +2. Sorry, a reflex save to try to give him a +2 to his reflex save. Okay, you give a +2. Now I'm really hoping that Jake rolls very low on this check, because that would make
We have to
very
drag
fun
him
for you.
out like a sack of
It would
potatoes.
be amazing. So Jake, you get a +2 in your reflex save.
Jake just pulled such a face.
I want you to roll. I want you to roll very poorly. That would make me so happy.
It would make me not
Please.
happy.
Please
I want you
roll
to know
poorly.
that.
Please roll poorly.
Oh, reflex.
Let's
Please,
just
go for it.
break down what Scott's saying. He wants to see you covered in tentacles.
Yes. Or
Reflex?
just a secretion. Yes.
It was nearly a 1.
I know, I've seen it. I've rolled 2 or 3 ones so far.
I assume that includes the +2.
Yeah.
Now, I was allowing penance to last for the scene because we weren't able to use it in combat, which is where it tends to be more critical. So I'll allow that to be a 16. Are you comfortable with your 16, or are you nervous?
Look, I'm comfortable with it, but I don't.
These are dead things' tentacles, right? They can't be a 16, surely.
I wouldn't think so, but to be honest, I don't want to. I don't
Like
wanna
it can't
risk
be. It can't be
Let
this
me be honest.
creature's
Got it?
full CMB or whatever.
Okay.
So with your 18, the tentacles do not affect you. Okay,
Would they have a 15, 16?
I can answer that. All right,
Oh,
and
but imagine
They
that-
wouldn't have.
imagine-
I know they wouldn't have. but
Imagine
I
the
didn't wanna risk
cuck
it.
it'll lay on Jake.
I'm gonna say this. I'm that guy that when I play poker, I when I fold, you don't get to see my hand.
Ooh.
So anyways, you Jake, you go ahead and roll for me your knowledge nature check is how you do it.
All right. Let's hope for better than a 1 this time. Yes.
That's a
That's with my
35.
2 on it.
It says a 37. Do you want to try to luck and see if you hit that 40 just for funsies?
No.
Okay. So you're sifting through this thing, and you're sifting through this thing, and you actually overlook the eggs pretty quickly. And then you're like, I can't find anything in here. And then you go back and you look and you realize, holy crap. Despite the size of this thing, it lays tiny ass eggs. I mean, these eggs are like the size of caviar. Like, you know what I mean? Like little ass like salmon eggs. Like little ass eggs. And there's not 1 or 2. There's a lot of them. Like a lot of them. You could imagine, as somebody with your knowledge, your background, understanding of nature, so on and so forth, most likely so that if something else that feasts off these eggs comes in and gorges themselves, gorges themselves on these a meal of these eggs, at least a few dozen will survive, if not like the thousands you think are maybe laid here. And then beyond that, you can also imagine as they hatch, they literally eat each other. So even if all of the, let's say thousands, if not hundreds, thousands, are hatched, they probably just start, like any that hatch early eats the other eggs pretty early on. Any that hatch at the same time kill each other, eating each other, so that you still have some that end up coming to go off into the world. And you know, with any insectoid, they're usually dead in the first couple days anyways. They don't get to grow to full size because, you know, the world is harsh, right? So anyways, there are lots of eggs inside there. And if you want, you have no idea how long their gestation period is. So you are welcome to, because you know how big they are when they come up and they were just laid. You are more than welcome to scoop up these eggs and put them inside of something. But you imagine the eggs are laid inside of carrion for a reason. I mean, probably for the moisture, probably for whatever fluids that cover the egg, but potentially even nutrients that get almost like osmosis through the eggs, through the shell of the eggs and into the creature on the inside. You know, like maybe just a natural casing or protection. So I don't know if you want to cut out almost like try to cut a sack of dead meat or to put these eggs inside of, or if you want to just like extract some of the eggs as they are because you want them dried out and dead. Like, I'm not sure what you're trying to do, but you describe it. You got them eggs, baby.
Sure. You just see him pull out some empty vials, and he just puts them into the empty vials. Knowing that, you know, they could hatch or whatever, he's not trying to hatch them, whether they dry out or what. He's just going to do some experimenting and seeing if they have any properties that could be put to use.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy in Baldur's Gate 2 in the sewers underneath what city is that? Athkatla, I think it's called. Underneath the city of Athkatla. He looks like a homeless guy. Looks like a guy that's just wearing like effectively a diaper. And he's friends with carrion crawlers, and he gets mad at you when the carrion crawlers attack you and you kill them, and he's like, "You killed my pets." I'm almost positive that's a thing that exists in that game, and I think it's the same sewer system where you get the talking sword. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, so yeah, you are scooping this out while this is happening. I kind of want chat to roll this die roll because I feel like I tend to roll poorly, but I'm going to roll this die roll. I'm going to open roll it so I can daddy's dice it if need be. I really, really hope I don't roll poorly. I'll be very, very upset if I roll poorly on this. I'll be really, really upset if I do. God, just don't suck. That's all I'm asking is just don't suck. Oh boy.
What does that mean?
Oh boy. I don't know how much of you guys remember of last session, but I remember quite a bit of last session.
I know what you're talking about.
So, give me 1 second to prepare. I just need to check something really quickly.
Good.
1 second. Let's see. That is a okay, cool. I see it. And then so that's that. And so that is with okay, one more time. Just don't suck. Like that roll that you just did, that'd be fine. I'd be happy with that roll you just did. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else I can use? I don't think there is. I think I just have daddy's dice if I need it. Okay. All right. Just don't suck. Come on. Come on. It was your opportunity. It was your opportunity. Okay. So while you're over there scooping these things out and putting them into like vials or flasks or whatever you have, while you're just kind of like carefully scooping them in, like I said, they're like caviar. They're small. There's tons of that you can grab relatively easily. As you're doing that, and the whole time Gallon is like looking down and like trying to move more tentacles slightly out of the way. And as he's like seamlessly unaware of the goddamn tentacles, and you're over there like, God damn it, Viggo, like BT, you just actually care about your own safety for a second as he's like really getting up and in there.
Moving towards some of the tentacles. You're like,
you're like holding it to the side of the stick, and you actually draw the sword, and you're like using it to like really like pull it away and like layer it over another one. But then you see like another one starts like slopping down towards it, starts to do like one of those flops, like you stop with the stick, and you move it to the side. And like Tristan's off the side, he's keeping guard, of course, and looking down the tunnel. But then occasionally he like looks back, he's just kind of chuckling, watching like you are struggling. Not what he's doing. What he's doing is just watching you struggle. He's just like chuckling to himself. And of course, Carrick is sitting there and being uncomfortably inside the sewers. Both of them blissfully unaware until Carrick, last possible second, catches a whiff of something strange. Tristan doesn't notice it, but Carrick's ears kind of like drop down as it notices something strange, and its head quickly twitches to the side to look. And we're talking, lets out a whinny as it jumps, and I mean a full-on horse hop. If you've never seen a horse hop, it's scary. Like when a horse like sees a snake, and they like literally hop to the side, and you're like, that was a lot of meat. you know, like moving to the side. It does a whole horse hop as in that water slopping through the sewers. You just see a large size head roll up and snap shut, trying to literally cleave Carrick in half as a large size crocodile is literally just swimming through and coming up and just trying to snap and grab Carrick. But Carrick notices it last second and jumps to the side. So it snaps shut. And you can imagine Tristan nearly shits himself as a large-sized dinosaur is in the water in front of him, full of fury, ready to consume. I'm going to have everybody go ahead and roll initiative for me really quickly. Don't forget to touch your token first.
I'm touching my tokens.
That was not what I rolled. Hit points. Why did I roll hit points?
Oh.
Sorry, and have you playing 5e now?
That was a good hit points roll there, Tash.
It was unfortunately
that was a good one.
That was a solid
Never
one.
going to do that for an actual hit point roll.
Well, you leveled actually, so no.
We're
I just
leveling
wanna-
after killing this crocodile.
No.
Scott,
for a
I'm just
couple
letting you
years.
know I'm altering my health points because I've taken no damage, but it seems I haven't updated it. So when I put it back to full,
Oh,
from
yeah,
the
that's fine,
29
that's fine.
that it was on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Natty 20, natty 20, natty 20. Ooh. Okay. I'm definitely Daddy's Dyson. Oh, that's okay though. Okay. All right. Cool. Oh, and Carrick X in your turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Gallon goes first. To be clear, where everybody is situated, just so we have a basic understanding, where Tristan and Gallon happen to be. I don't know if we have a horse one. I'll grab a horse in 1 second. So where Tristan and Gallon happen to be is probably only about 30 feet away from where you guys are, keeping a healthy distance from you guys as to not get in the way and to give like a good heads up if need be, but not like so far away
Tristan
that
and
it's
Carrick.
Tristan Carrick, but not so far away as to be like a genuine concern if you guys needed to get close to one another. So Tristan and Carrick are about 30 feet away from you two more or less on top of one another, just that you're aware. So just to give you guys a little visual for you as the PCs to look at, even though it's not really important. Just give you a little visual. And cool. Good? Good. It is Gallon's turn first, just so that we're fully aware. And now that we're in a new combat, I am no longer going to be allowing into the thing. Okay, never mind. He just did a new Penance of the Arbiter. So I was literally just saying I'm not going to allow it in, and I look over and just be like, did anybody get any AIDS or anything? And yeah, Viggo has AIDS. So aid. Wow, holy shit! I did not mean that. Viggo has aid. And a ton of temporary health points. Holy crap! So you guys all have
What I get?
penance and you have aid.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you got aid during the last combat, but you were so removed and it was the end of the combat, so I just didn't apply it. So
yeah.
All right, cool.
So what have we got? Aid.
He has aid. You have penance.
Gotcha.
So this thing is how far away?
From you about 30 feet.
30 feet. Okay. Perfect. I think I'll stay with I'll use the astral skin this time. So swift action, astral skin. Just immediately, just as soon as combat starts, just whoop. Now to confirm, I believe this is a free action. It is free action. So that is now 5. And I'm going to, within 30 feet, throw a chakram at it.
Sure. It is in melee. It is engaged in melee.
Oh, okay. So that gives me disadvantages, doesn't it? Oh,
Just a -4.
-4. That's not too bad. I can deal with that. You know what? If things go bad, I can run up. So -4.
I had a plus 13 to stealth because I was in water, but then I failed my attack roll.
You failed,
so
yeah.
hard. So hard. I was like, all right, what's his 500 AC? Where is it? Do I get any bonuses? Nope.
Hey.
Does that include the -4? Yeah.
Yes, it does. I believe
beautiful.
so. Let me do. Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it does.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Okay, so you you absolutely hit the gator.
So it does this and the psionic damage.
Oh, so you expended your psionic focus?
Yes, I did. No, I did the deep crystal focus earlier.
Oh, deep crystal focus.
That's
Gotcha.
a free action. So I did swift action, free action.
So you spent 2 power points,
Yes, I did.
and you did that once last combat too. So you're down 4 power points in your character sheet.
Yes, I'm up to 5 at the moment.
Cool.
From 9.
Just making sure we're good. 25 points of damage is no joke. Want to know how much of a no joke it is?
What?
Describe that kill.
Kills him.
Oh, yes. Okay. So
It's a
this is
CR2
one of those
creature.
things
The
where-
scary part is when they bite you, grab you, and death
And-
roll you.
Yeah,
Death roll,
drag
yeah.
you under the water in death.
So this is
Yeah.
like this is all as a reaction to this creature, to Carrick jumping pretty much because he was on edge because he was expecting the carrion crawler, not a crocodile. So he was still on edge. So the whole thing, the scene you described before happens, and Galen suits in like one motion, grabs the chakram, suits up while he's pulling back. It starts like glowing a little bit blue from him channeling the deep crystal focus from his gauntlets into it, and then he throws it, and it goes and like even scrapes a little bit on the edge of the tunnel before curving back and just crunch into the back of the head, like the neck of the crocodile. And it hits with enough force that even though this thing is huge, it does like shift a bit before dying and slipping back into the water.
It does, of course, unfortunately die that quickly because there's a lot of damage all at once. And I imagine this literally, as you described, everything happens. You throw it, you see it die, and you're just like, oh, and you like reach over with the stick quickly and get stop like one of the tentacles from flopping onto the back of what's his name? Who kind of like goes.
Let's get out of here.
What's
guys.
happening?
Continuing to scoop the eggs.
I'm gonna leave the armor on for now, I think, just in case anything else shows up. But wait, no.
Tris, could you get my chakram?
Tristan is scared shitless. Is literally a big gator just comes up and tries to eat Carrick. He's like, "Gah!" And this thing was about to act before Tristan could even react. And then he's just all of a sudden, like, Shocker comes over and slaughters the thing in front of him. He's like, "Can you get that for me?"
It just gives him like a what the fuck. I'll get it later.
Tris will give him a what the fuck. Like he gets a look, like. But then he will unhook his lance and gently hook and pull the chakram out, like one of those fair games. And like hold it up with like a slightly perturbed smile. Thanks. And then he'll give Karok a look. They'll like share a look.
Carrick, you can tell
Galen just
it's
gives you a
antsy
thumbs
to
up.
leave this place.
Yeah, me too.
After that, that's fair.
I hear you, brother.
Viggo stands up, puts those vials away, and is like, "Yeah, let's get out of here."
I imagine
Then he'll
you
probably
didn't
look
collect
over to where
all the
those
eggs,
mushrooms were, and we'll be like,
Yeah, you know what? Galen would probably give them a wave as well.
Yes, that's what I did. And so you guys leave the place.
Yeah.
You know, not, to not seem like a coward. You know, you're the guard, Tristan. You leave last, very close behind the heels of the others, but you're the last one out.
I would come get the chakra off him and then hold up the rear like I normally do.
You do now. You're like ass support. Okay. Just saying. All right.
I was
so,
literally, I thought you were being serious, and I was about to explain our common marching order, and then you followed up with that, and I realized, no, I just thought too much of you.
Everyone
for
loves a
second.
bit of ass support.
yeah.
I mean,
It's like when you're walking up the stairs behind your girlfriend. You provide support for her, right? No, I got you. Don't worry. In case you fall. No. Anyways, so
you're such a boomer, Scott.
anyways, you guys go walking out of the place, and honestly, at this point in time, after everything you guys just transpired and the mountain town has passed, that camp looks like a genuinely kind place to sit there and relax for a little bit. So you find yourself back over at that camp again, and taking a moment to I can't recall. Do any of you guys have prestidigitation?
I do.
His cloak.
Oh, that's right.
His cloak
At
does.
will too, right?
Pardon?
At will, right?
At will, yeah.
So frustrating. So you go over and you just
You want to know the best part? That cape, literally any of the options I chose had prestidigitation as an automatic thing. So,
you
I'm so glad you suggested it to me.
I hate myself. So prestidigitation to clean off the sewer grime from everybody as you guys stop and
Oh yeah.
and kind of catch your breath and allow your heart rate to slow down and contemplate all the good things that have happened in life and all the things that are less good. Grab a snack and whatnot, and I don't know if there's any more RP before you finally get up and start heading towards the city.
No, I don't think. I think he said what he needed to say about the whole situation while we were in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, it turned out better than he expected. Even if he didn't get Virgil back, they got the really important thing that they came here for. At least a lead. So.
Yeah.
So, you guys, after resting for like a good half hour or so, just kind of, like I said, mostly it's kind of gathering your senses after what just transpired. You know what I mean? The carrion crawler was scary, but because you've never seen anything like that before, it's large, chasing you down, especially once you realize what it was. But overall, you had that under control. Carrick was able to run. But a gator underneath you, popping up out of nowhere, that actually requires a minute to gather your senses. But so once everything's said and done, and you guys are able to kind of breathe easy again, you finally get up and start making your way over towards the city of Renislav. Now, Renislav didn't always have such high security before, but it does now. Walking up towards the city, you actually can see that there is not like, 2 guards that they walkway in. No. There are several guards, about a half dozen guards that are over towards where you guys are walking / riding into the city itself. And so you're making your way over to this group of guards, and you can tell, like, this isn't one of those things where you're going to be able to just like, hey, and walk by. You very quickly get the impersonation. This is going to be an inspection on arrival. You know what I mean? Like, you know this because you're Del. You've seen this before. So you get the impression they're going to inspect you as you guys are walking up. So I don't know if there's anything quickly that you'd want to shift around in your packs, make more prevalent, make more hidden, so on and so forth, before you get up there. But you very quickly get this impression, especially Viggo, and what's your name, Tesh? Gallon. Tristan, not so much, as you're making your way up there. Though I imagine if Tristan realized, he'd be like, I think there's fingerman up ahead.
I think luckily Gallon mostly looks the part he wants to anyway, as a hired mercenary, or at the very least lots of weaponry, and is protecting that one. He obviously doesn't have. They wouldn't. This is something they wouldn't have had the entire trip. Obviously, so he doesn't have any regalia or anything on him. That would be in the compartment with the documents in the boot.
Neil.
Is it normal for an inspection for them to actually ask for papers in Paradel?
I mean, it's good to know who's coming and going. And so if you don't have paperwork, that's something worth marking. If you do have paperwork, that's something worth marking.
We have
do
paperwork
have
from
paperwork,
the events.
We have paperwork that the only negative for it is that the person signing it isn't actually an official, but only people who
It was a forgery.
be in them. It was like
Yeah.
it was a forgery that was like the proper paperwork.
Yeah.
The signing is the only issue. So this far up, I imagine that
Yeah,
it's basically
it is
official
a
paperwork.
solid forgery. Like
Yeah.
it's like
The-
it's
the only
it's not
real
like
risk-
it's not like you went to your buddy's house and he made you a fake ID. It's like
Yeah.
you went to the DMV and got a fake ID. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, there's a
only
different
people who
caliber.
like issue them would be like, "Hang on, this person doesn't have the right to issue this," sort of thing. They'd have to know that the person signing it was a forger.
Yeah,
Almost.
exactly. It's like back in the day when girls used to be able to like, well, I say girls, but anybody used to be able to lie when you got your driver's license, so it would have the wrong age on there. Like, so you would actually be able to like pretend like you were younger than you were. You know what I mean? It was like, because I remember my grandmother telling me that before. I'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't have a real age on there. It's like, you can't do that now. Like, you
Yeah.
require a birth certificate and so all this other documentation to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
But the old days, you
Green
used to be
said it
like,
right,
yeah,
we have real fake papers.
correct, yeah. So either way, blah, blah, blah. So what do you do? Anything that you try to keep hidden on your person or bring prevalent or so on and so forth? Do you even make Tristan aware, or do you just purse your lips because you don't want to make it obvious that you're even talking about it?
I will missive Tristan.
Fair enough. You go, and you push out a message to his brain.
It would be more like I expend the focus, wait a bit, and then focus when I can, rather
Sure.
than missive. So I would
Just
just
squeezes
inform
out a
him,
message.
checkpoint up ahead. Just giving you a heads up. Checkpoint up ahead. Giving you a heads up.
Silent but informative.
You'd see Triss like swat around his head as if there's a fly at first, and then stops and looks at you and grunts.
Hey, I've done the missive before. For
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you've done it before. It doesn't
He's
get
still
any
not used
better.
to it.
Could have
Uh,
just said something.
I
He will
imagine-
give you a little like, really?
Like I imagine like having a character in the party that like has his abilities, a character in the party that like doesn't like them. I imagine like Tristan like comes to the party with like a treat, and then he just hears like a whisper in his mind saying, "I really like the brownies." It's like one of those like completely just like, bro, that's creepy. It's creepy. That's a really nice tie you're wearing. Like,
Dude, could you imagine if like you were just in a bar and then you heard a voice just go, "I'm going to kill you today." You just like,
see, I was thinking like, that's a fine dress. Like,
oh,
you know,
that's
like,
even that's just
like-
creepy.
I'm gonna kill
No, I
you.
mean
It's like,
that
what
might
the
have the same that might have the same connotations. To be fair,
Yeah, it's it's just the missive or any of these
Your
sort of,
dog
like,
is very cute.
message abilities are just, when you use them in the wrong way, they are terrifying to the
Right.
commoner. Like, the commoner's just like, fucking what? The best part is no one else around him would react, and if you didn't do anything to show that it was you, he would just be looking around like, what the fucking what?
Oy vey. Or exactly in 10 words, right? It's like, hey, Tristan, I know what you did last summer. All right, moving on. You guys go walking up there. There's nothing that you try to like kind of like make obvious in your pack or like tuck away because the two of you are able to realize what it is. And Tristan obviously being creeped out for a second.
I
mean,
mean,
there's
all I've
nothing
got is
that-
my alchemical supplies, which, you know, are my alchemical supplies. I have a dagger and a crossbow.
The only thing, luckily, the way I've got everything arranged on me, the bastard sword isn't like my most prominent weapon. It's obviously, it's like you can tell it's a backup weapon sort of thing. Like the bow is on top of it. The chakrams are in a better position to use quickly. Like, it's very obvious that that's not my first go-to weapon, which is the only thing he would change if he wanted to change anything. So it's fine.
My question is, we have Yovan's paperwork. Would that get us in to here?
You're merchants.
Yeah, so that's what I was
Uh,
just making sure. Yeah, yeah.
Especially given that there's this is the sort of event that a merchant would probably go to sell things at. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
holy shit! Tactical nuke incoming. Uh-oh.
Get on with it, Scott.
All right, so we've approached the
We're
I'm
through
worried
the
about
gate.
Scott's face.
We
Soul booth.
got checked.
Scott, why would you do this at the check, Anna? At least let us get into the city. God damn it.
Guards, and they go walking up to you. Let me make sure this is over here, so in case anything happens, I can see it. You go walking up to the guards, and you walking up to them, and the guards kind of like, "Oh, hold up. We need to inspect what you have."
Of course.
Oh.
Viggo will start laying the stuff out.
Yep. He says to make things nice and easy, if you could just remove all weapons and leave them on the side over here, since you seem to be armed with a considerable number of them.
Yeah,
And
Galen does that thing where he's just like, yeah.
and
It's just like unloading weapons.
immediately behind your weapons, if you could put any packs, saddlebags, anything that you have, leave them all, remove them, put them over here. You three could step to the side. You're clearly going to be a little difficult. And they kind of like shuffle you to the side. They take somebody else kind of like that was traveling a little bit further behind you, coming up, and they give them more or less a quick pat down, grab the one bag that they have, and they start like searching through it to make sure like everything's fine inside there, so on and so forth, and let that person through as you guys are still getting your stuff kind of like lined up. As you guys are getting all that put together, lined up, blah 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 blah. Eventually the
Triss will look at the BT before beginning to disarm.
Viggo will nod because we need to get into the city. This is probably standard protocol in a lot of places.
Well, it's not a lot
But
of
there's
places,
heightened
but you can-
security, you
yeah.
know what I mean? But like still.
Like you
Still
know
an
why
inspection.
this is happening here. I mean,
Yeah.
Once Viggo nods, he'll begin taking off the weaponry.
So you isn't that almost enough for one of those point of views or what's that super high priced one called that we have for daddies? Anyways, keep going. So you it's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. So
okay.
they start going through. So one of the people, as you guys have that stuff down there, they start like going through your sacks and trying to like find out like through backpacks, saddlebags, whatever it is, and finding out what it's the different things inside there are, kind of like shifting through, and they're not doing so in a gentle way. It's not like it's so overtly rough that you're genuinely concerned something might break inside there, Jake, but it's also not so gentle that you're like, something could actually break inside there. So it's very unlikely. I would say it's about a 3% chance something breaks. So if each of you want to say a number between 1 and 100, and then we'll have Anno roll that D100 afterwards.
Oh, God.
1.
You say 1, okay?
Yeah.
I say 42.
Well, Anno rolled too soon. And Neil?
What do I need to
A number
say?
between 1
Don't
and
look
100.
at chat. Don't look at chat and just say a number. between
I've
1
already
and 100.
looked at chat.
Yeah, a number
Oh.
between 1 and 100.
I don't know, but I've already looked.
So just
I
say a
think he's
number.
going to get him to roll again.
Okay,
so-
77.
Okay, cool. So he's gonna roll now. So long as he doesn't roll 1,
I was
77,
told
or
that.
the meaning of life. So Anno's known for being premature. So you guys are okay. You're good.
Oh,
nothing,
cool.
nothing breaks inside there. But again, there's clattering and whatnot happening. At one point in time, like especially going through your pack, Jake, one of them goes, "Hey, BT, might want to check this out." And it's one of those things where you hear BT, and I imagine your characters almost instinctively look. So go ahead and roll me with a +5 to all of you. Roll me a bluff check real quick. That being said, the person looks over, kind of takes a glance at the pack and sees all the vials and everything that are inside there. And he nods. He says, "Yeah, go get him." And the person gives a nod, and they stand up and start like walking off. Tristan
That's not
rolls
with
a-
my +5.
Okay, so that's a
To be-
9.
to be-
Are you comfortable
Yeah.
with your 9?
No, I
Doesn't he get to
keep seeing-
re-roll if he got the modifier?
You're gonna
wrong?
have to re-roll with your modifiers, Neil.
He is not wrong. So you add
Do
that
I
5
have
and roll
to?
again. Yeah.
Are we
yeah,
doing that?
If
Okay.
you don't, Joey's
Yeah.
gonna call me a little bit later on, and he's gonna yell at me for like 15 minutes.
So just
So-
You
add
son
the
of a
mod- make-
bitch!
So, Neil, make sure you do something I keep forgetting to do. Change the number and then click off.
There you go.
Are you happy with your 11, which is only 2 higher?
I would roll a luck.
What
Just
do you
in
guys
case.
think?
Let's get through here.
I say roll a luck just in case. Yeah,
There we go.
Oh dear.
As they kind of have that exchange or whatever, go get him, and that person kind of leaves, and another one of the guards that are there, kind of just watching the scenario or whatever, gives a bit of a funny look, very obvious on his face, at Tristan, and as the commander says, go get him, and he kind of looks down again. He looks at the other person and says, "What is it?" And he goes, "I don't know." And just kind of keeps looking at Tristan, like giving Tristan like a look like something might be slightly off. The person keeps kind of going through the packs and looking things over, and then finally, like as the BT is looking through the packs because of what they had found inside Jake's, finally that other guard speaks up and says, "You all right?" To Tristan.
Well, in my profession, being disarmed usually results in death. So forgive me for being a little edgy.
You got a reason to be edgy there, friend? You're looking a little nervous.
Which country have I just come from?
He actually shrugs. He shrugs. He has no idea.
Yvance. Do you want to tell me what's going on between Yvance and Peridel right now? Even you'll get this.
That was so much sass. I love it. You'll get this.
When you say it like that, the BT actually, you get his attention. So he's now witnessing this scenario. And he looks at you and says, "What's your problem?"
My problem? One of your guards just asked me what my problem was as well. Have I got a problem?
As you're giving him some lip too, he stands up to walk away from the packs and makes his way over and says, "This can go easily. Why do you want it to be difficult?"
I'm sorry. We've just come through Yvance. That country is basically all bandits.
As you're trying to play down the scenario, Neil, because you're being a dick to the other guy, you can actually roll an intimidate check. Based off your result, you're going to impact Jake's diplomacy check to try to play down the scenario. Like, everybody, calm our heads.
When the BT steps forward,
amazing.
When the BT steps forward, Triss will step forward. And bearing in mind, Triss is like, I don't know, 6'4", built like a tank, wearing full plate. Well, not full plate, half plate, whatever. And he will look at him.
So to set the scene right, the guy that was eyeing you, we're gonna say he's like a little man height, like 5'5". I think that's how Jake is.
Like your height, yeah.
I'm taller than that one, buddy.
Sure. I am tall. I'm 5'11".
Someone spam that Scott tall emote.
Daelric tools.
Yeah, Daelric tall.
Anyways, so
What was the name of the city we just went through?
This is Untitled.
Was it Renetslav?
Renetslav.
Renaissance was it? Yeah.
No, the city we just
Tikopro
went
is where he
through.
came out of. Tikopro.
Yeah.
Going to say just Tiki Capro has a lot of issues with
Only diplomacy, but
not.
+3.
Oh,
Go
okay. Tiki Capro at the moment has a lot of fake inspections. We were just on edge. I apologize.
But I have Jake roll. Are you satisfied with your 21? That includes a 3, I assume.
Yeah, it does.
Are you satisfied with your 21?
I mean, 21's a good check. The guards.
Yeah. So is that a yes?
Oh, you always make me doubt myself.
He does. Look,
Like, every
roll it. I say
time.
roll it.
It's like I just want to get into the city, and I don't want
It's
another
because
alligator to
every-
follow us out of the sewer and be attacking Carrick again in a second. All right, I just want to get through the gates.
It's because every time he says, "Are you happy with your roll?" You two squirm in your boots.
Yeah,
It works
it
every
fucking
time.
Works.
All right,
I
we're taking a vote between the three of us. All right, Neil,
Oh,
we good?
I vote no. We're golden.
Tash?
Fuck. Look,
Don't
You know
stress,
what?
Tash. Vote with the heart.
I think we're okay. It is given the situation, it makes sense that we're on edge.
All right, we're sticking with it.
Okay. Okay.
Sticking with the 21.
A 21 works. You're perfectly fine.
Good. Okay. Fuck it up.
A 4 is IV. You would think somebody that's from Italy would know that, but you know, Roman numerals are difficult for some people. Anyways,
Now it's time for the perception checks for that alligator. Go on, boys.
okay, so yeah, if you could go ahead and jokes aside though, you so yeah, you brain's not working. Oh yeah. You you kind of give that look. This Jake-sized man was trying to like kind of play you up to feel bigger about himself. You give the
Sounds like you,
bombing
to be
words,
honest.
the bombing words, and he just kind of gives like a nod. He goes, "No, I understand. Things are a little bit rough. I'm sure you've heard about what's happened here lately. Everybody, just get your heads out of your asses, bite your tongues. It's just merchants. I'm sure they're not up to anything. Or are you?" He says, looking specifically at Viggo, who had the pack that had stuff inside it. "But we'll know that soon enough, won't we, friend?" And then turns to go back to your pack as somebody else comes walking up. You actually see a female Perrin soldier walking over. She walks over. She kind of gives like a head nod, like, "What's up?" And you can tell by her uniform and everything that she's a BT as well. And he gestures over towards the stuff. She kind of just gives a nod as she does so. She draws out from her side. She actually has like almost like a holster on her hip that has 4 different wands on it. And she actually draws a specific wand. And with that specific wand, she actually casts a spell. It's hard to identify what spell is being cast by a wand. So she draws out the wand without detect magic currently active on you. So she draws out the wand and she starts casting and looking over the things. And I have to actually roll a wisdom check for her. She has a +1 wisdom, 1d20 +1. She kind of screws up her face a little bit, and she turns and walks over towards the three of you, but giving like a nod to the other BT, who gestures towards specifically Viggo. As she walks up, she says, "You got some interesting things in that pack over there. Why do you have poison with you?"
Want to have poison?
Why do you have poison with you? What's it for?
No, I'm asking you.
He's asking
Out of game.
Meta, does he have poison?
Yeah.
The
Absolutely
eggs.
you do.
The eggs.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I would just tell the truth. You're an alchemist. Like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Shit. I didn't know they were actually poison.
You could probably ask.
He would just
Jimmy
say,
next.
could you point out what it is that you're talking about?
Sure. She goes over. She pulls out a couple of like flagons or whatever you have of alcohol, and she puts them to the side. And you can clearly tell she's not. At first, you're like, "Oh my god, is this idiot really pointing out alcohol?" But then she like puts it to the side because obviously she knows what she's doing. And then you're like, "Okay, thank God." And then she actually pulls out your freshly filled, still goopy on the outside because you've cleaned them up, but also got the out of there as quickly as you could. Jars. There, but luckily there's nothing's active, and she holds it up and says, "This seems rather virulent."
He'll go into a long-winded speech about alchemical reagents and their many uses, and while some can be seen as poison, they actually are useful in medicine, and blah 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 blah.
I've
It's
seen
a
him
very
take like
long-winded
mushroom.
speech.
I've seen him take like a mushroom. Kill you dead if you eat it. Really good for your,
Let's just say those spores.
Don't know how he does it, but I tell you what, the noble boys pay well for it.
That they do.
Neil, you can go
Viggo
ahead and
jump.
roll a fluff on that one. And
I would
Jake,
actually,
yours is a bluff. You're rolling something else in a second.
I would actually like this to assist Jake. If that's all right. That was my.
Yes. But if you fail horribly,
I did fail horribly. I did fail a little horribly.
Jake, you're welcome to roll.
Yeah.
But his story is so outlandish and goofy and delivered exactly as Neil just did in a normal, otherwise conversation that it actually offers you a -2 to your check to convince them everything.
What if I luck it?
What if you think lucking is going to help you?
Yeah, because I'll bring it out of a -2 to a -1.
It is possible. You can go right
Do you
ahead.
guys think I should? You guys think I should like this? I feel like maybe I should like this. It is a 2.
You haven't used any luck, I don't think so. You can
Go for it.
if you want. What check would this be? Would this be an alchemy check?
I mean, it's not, because alchemy for you is craft. If you had like profession alchemist versus craft alchemist, you could speak the language as opposed to do the job. Those are two very different skills, if you know what I'm saying.
He's also not
Knowledge
wise.
Arcana.
I would actually say a fair enough for this one, because I want it to be charisma based, is diplomacy. You're literally trying to convince them. It's just now it's a higher DC, because now they're like borderline hostile against you. So it's a much higher DC. Hostile is 25 plus charisma modifier, whereas unfriendly is 20 plus, and so on.
Look,
So it's
I'm
not
sorry,
a low check, but your diplomacy, I think, is fair.
If
-2 from
talking
him.
about penis made them hostile,
It was
they
the
need to. They
goofiness
got
of
some growing to do, and we got the mushroom extract for them.
It was the goofiness. It was the goofiness of it.
All right, it's diplomacy then.
And poor Tesh is sitting there like watching this train wreck, like, no.
Oh, luck it.
Do it, yeah.
So you
That is with the
explained
-2. Just saying that.
yeah. I saw you switch from the 3 to the 2. It plays out, and like you're telling the story, whatever it is, and then your subordinate there chimes in, thinking he's being helpful, but honestly, just hoping to get hoping to get like a rise from the others. To which one of the other guards actually like full on like laughs until the BT looks at them and they stifle it, and another one's like snickering to themselves, like, so like he gets them right. But she and the BT are not amused,
It
right?
would have worked on normal guards, just not on the higher ups that are a little more.
yeah, more reserved, right? So anyways, so the eventually she just kind of like nods, and she's like, I understands, but because I don't know what these materials are, I'm going to need you to leave behind a very small sample of it. A vial would be fine. That way I can have it looked into. And if anything is seen as a concern, we can look into you later on. Is this amicable?
What do I know anything about carrion crawler eggs?
They're eggs.
You know what carrion crawler are, and you know what eggs are.
You could just tell her
Yep.
that as
But
well.
there's
so-
you said there was properties with the other stuff, right? With the venomy stuff that were used in something.
I imagine you could make
Carrion
anti-paralytics
crawler
as
venom,
much as you
right?
can make paralytics.
Carrion crawler venom is just paralytic, so I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, but usually the venom you can use to make the anti-venom as well, so...
Potentially, sure. So I'm not sure what James is talking about.
I remember you saying that I knew a carrion crawler because it had a use in alchemy.
Oh,
Like, just to remember what it was.
Yes. So when you deal with medicine, like if you're actually dealing with like a surgery, the ability to have somebody not moving is super friggin' useful. But also, you can imagine that as an actual alchemical reagent for more potent things that can be created. This is just like amorphous. Like I love harkening back to what's it called, Witcher. Where it's like, oh, this is aether, or this is vermintide, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like this is just ingredient X. So there's other aspects of it that can be used for da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? So you can mention that, or as Tesha said, perfect. It can be used for medicinal reasons. Yeah. But either way, so she says she needs a small sample.
I will give her a small sample, and I'll say, I'll save you some of the trouble, and I tell her some of the properties it has, and say, check it out.
Yep. She nods as you're being appreciative, and she actually pulls out a document saying that you're surrendering this over, and she actually says, "And you called this."
Whatever it's for.
Yeah. So yeah, I imagine you use more like almost like the Latin title, so you're not saying the eggs of a
100%.
carrion crawler. You definitely use like a more
100%.
formal. Yeah. Okay. And
Definitely.
so you give that kind of response. She writes in, how do you spell that? Yeah, and she writes it in, and then she has you actually sign and date it. In which case, I actually need one more thing from you, sir.
Because magpie instead of actual.
It's an actual
You gotta
signature.
sign it, magpie.
I
mean, let's be
assumed
honest,
that
a
I
signature
signed the
is a
thing to begin
signature.
with.
So you need to, but it's not your typical signature. So we need magpies, which is, by the way, a disguise.
Even these days, signatures are like just a fucking.
Do you want me to roll a disguise check to do this signature?
I believe, I believe disguise is how you do. No, linguistics. Linguistics is how you would do a forgery. That's right.
Okay.
But he's not technically for. It's fine.
There we go.
It's about consistency. It's literally about
Oh,
consistency
that-
of a signature.
My signatures aren't consistent.
Yep.
So
Yeah, which is a genuine concern when it comes to voting in the United States and why these new laws suck. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's stupid. Yeah. My license
Here-
signature, my
here, as
actual
long as,
signature don't
like,
match.
yeah, here as long as like you can say that like yes that was in fact you, and you can reproduce the signature that they've got there. Usually it's fine. My signatures at least
unless-
have the same pattern.
Unless
Sorry.
the pathway used to inform you of this and to rectify the mistake and so on and so forth is so slow and arduous that the vote has already been tallied, certified, and the results.
Oh
of
no,
the
I'm not
election
talking
are
about.
done
Not
prior
I'm
to-
talking about here, not
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is, but that's a rabbit hole. So
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't. talking
Let's
about
get in the
voting
city.
thing.
Let's get in.
you succeed, no problems. There's nothing sketchy. She takes it. She thanks you for amicability and whatnot. And then when she sees kind of like the mess that's in there, she doesn't know who made the mess, but she does look at one of the other lesser guards and says, "These are volatile chemical reagents with some venoms and poisons and the like that could genuinely be harmful to you and those around you, if not leaking out of the pack and hurting the citizens in the city. Why were they handled with such lack of care? Could somebody please assist this man in properly wrapping these up and package them inside of his pack correctly? The three of you, enjoy your
Thank you.
stay." And she
Just
turns
gonna
and
go,
walks
yeah,
off.
I was just like, I'm gonna lean over to Viggo and go, to Magpie and go, I like this one.
And the BT that was actually cluttering around inside there just says, more or less calls out like, "Tweedledee Tweedledum, get on that." Like turns and walks away to go assist the next
Fix
person.
my mess.
Yeah.
Viggo's like, don't touch anything. Just
Uh-huh.
don't touch anything.
So then they walk over. They're like, "Just get me a water." and you guys are able to finally walk into the city. So we're finally there after ages. We're finally in Renitslav, which is wonderful. And we can, of course, describe the city and everything. But because I have to get ready for work, I have to leave soon. We, of course, have to call it here. So we're in the city of Renitslav. We're going to finally start being able to investigate further. But we've actually got a lot of information this time. Denizens in the sewers, what their culture or whatever is like. The fact that Reno did, in fact, use potentially that camp. But definitely came out of the sewers beforehand with two others without being watched going in the sewers that way. So there's all sorts of details that you found along the way. But now it's just a matter of putting the rest of the pieces together. So we can get out of here so I can go to work. Tesh, who are you? What have you been up to? Why do we care?
Hi, I'm Tesh with the Test Tube. You can follow me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitch for Warframe: The New War, which is coming out soon. New World, which is coming out next week, I think, actually. Destiny 2, which I need to play more of on stream, and various looter shooters and games like that. Yeah, hopefully I'll have some of that stuff up very soon for you.
Bootyful. Jake's still holding his announcement close to his chest. So, Neil, what are you up to?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, it is my birthday in 13 hours and 4 minutes. So
That's exciting.
I'll be live
birthday.
over on, thank you very much, twitch.tv/Lost Initiative show. Sorry, Lost Initiative, no show anymore.
That came around
Twitch.tv/Lost
quick.
Initiative. What?
If I'm not cleaning, I'll be
Or
around.
birthday.
Yeah, I'm old.
How many years now? 37, 38?
36. Thank you. Thank you. Turning 36. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I don't see anybody live that I can raid. Tesh, do you have any nice Aussie friends or anything else that are good to raid?
Let me have a quick look.
Eastern European
Who is
streaming
it?
this time.
Oh, quick look, gotcha.
That'll
Never
never
seen
get
it.
old.
No, I will.
I'm gonna try and
not old at
search
the
for
moment,
some
no.
for just this occasion. Every time we end stream, I can suggest some.
Yeah, I'm sure I actually know a few from Twitter that I just haven't gotten around to following on Twitch just because I've only interacted with them on Twitter that would be on around this time. So I'll try and for next time have them up and following so I can check that stuff.
I
Okay,
probably
well, it
won't
looks
talk
like
to you on your
nobody says
birthday,
fine.
Scott. In which case, happy birthday for them.
Oh, I mean, thank you. I genuinely. Maggie already texted me yesterday to say happy birthday. She's like, I'm gonna forget on your birthday because I'm really busy this week, but happy birthday. I was like, thank you, Maggie.
I'm usually giving early birthdays thanks to time zones.
Yeah.
It's almost guaranteed
Yes,
I'll be early.
I'll probably be asleep when you're streaming, but if I'm not, I'll turn up.
Actually, it has in fact just swapped over to the 23rd for me. So happy birthday, Scott.
Why? Thank you.
Happy birthday, Scott.
Oh, thank you.
That's cool.
I appreciate it. Look at that. From
Time
all around the
zones.
world. All
Yep.
around the world. Happy birthdays for me.
It's like you're witnessing Scott when he was younger.
Bye,
Right now.
Just bye. Just bye. Just bye. Bye. No raid. Just bye.